Yo, 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 yo. I think my mic is close enough to my face now. Yo, 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 yo. No music, so I'm here on YouTube. Oh, wait, I gotta do my cute little image. There we go. How's it going? Good morning, good morning, good morning. I believe it is time to kick ass. Let me send the links out. Where's the link? Oh, here it is. Yo, Eric is a real one. Honestly, I love when you guys spam the link because I don't have to send it again. Plus, I feel like more people click it when another member sends the link over if I send the link. I could be superstitious, though. Thank you, though, Eric. I appreciate that. Al said it best. He said, "Good morning, and let's have a great day, everyone." That is a solid first message of the day. Good morning, good morning. I'm spamming emojis on people's good morning messages right now. I don't know who started that, by the way. That was not me. I did not start that trend. Good morning, good morning. What's up, Grassfed? What's up, Joe? What's up, Alexis? Yo, what's up, Alexis? I shorted your sector last week. Guys, we're going to be starting. We were just above this level. We open in about 40 seconds. I'll be watching the SPY options change, so just listen in. But yeah, so this morning we're going to be starting a little bit over this level. We were actually a lot more over this level. We're actually looking pretty decent. Like, I think we're about right here, almost in pre-market. Looking like we were going to go push towards the previous day high area. And when I'm saying previous day high area, I really am meaning like the high to the open of this green candle here. That high of day green candle on the 5-minute. This is the area I expect us to at least go bounce and hit our head against. If we don't go anything past that, whatever. But I truly think decisions going to be made from this level here today. So I'd be looking for my bullish or bearish candlestick patterns here, higher lows or lower highs, breaking this. Also, where's our open? We can see it's basically at that level, so it's not like that's going to interfere with anything. Considering, again, our open of the day is basically our most important level of the day, if that makes sense. Each intraday, and when we say intraday, it's just a very fancy way of saying that day, this day, today, just today's session, the intraday. The open is always the most important level for direction. Your previous day control point, which that's basically what this level is here. Actually, let's just double test that. It's been a little while since I drew these. Okay, yeah, that is exactly what that is. So if you go from the high to the low of the previous day, you get this 50% level. It's nothing fancy. In chat, you'll see people call it the 50% PD. You'll see people call it PDCP because it stands for previous day control point. And yeah, and since we don't really have that notable of a gap, it's nothing we have to really worry about. But something that we also like to throw in there too is the overnight 50%. So we can actually see direction kind of comes from this area entirely today. You can even include the today's open. So technically, you could be like, oh, fuck that level. And you could say direction for the day pretty much comes from this entire area. All three of our directional levels are in the same, 50-cent range? That's pretty crazy. What is up, Eric? Thank you again. In case you didn't hear me earlier, I was thanking you for sending the link. Appreciate that. Real. How's the mic volume, by the way, guys? We're good? Sometimes I move the mic away. Sometimes I'm just like not speaking as loud. Thank you, Eric. All right, let's focus on that. And then, guys, if you have VIP, I make sure to go check the Triple Q XLK post I did because that is very important for the tech chart today. And you'll see me pull it up on stream. That's not like I'm gonna hide it. But basically, in short, today, what I told my chat in VIP area is that depending on how we react to this, should help us with direction on the rest of the market. And as you guys can see, Nvidia is pumping. Apple's trying. Microsoft is over the previous day high with a gap up. So 3 of our top tech weights are trying to go up, but it looks like everything else is settling this morning. We could even see AMD's going up. Not like they're a huge weight, but I still like to mention them just because who doesn't like a little bit of AMD? Avgo, a 4th tech weight, also going up. A 4th larger tech weight going up. Coinbase, a little bit of a gap up. Another tech stock, gap up. But we could see SPY. Why is it so flat, guys? Why is that? Can anybody tell me? Let me know in the stream. We've been going over this a shit ton. I would love to see some of you get this right. The answer is right in front of you. Why is SPY not through the roof on that gap up like Triple Q is? Can anybody tell me? Mike is good. Thank you, man. Today's AM gap is the 50%. Yeah, I know. It's literally what I just covered. You guys see what I'm saying? Look at Eric already covering it. That's literally what I just finished covering. That's what this level is today's open. This is the gap up 50%. And then in between this is the previous day control point, like you just stated, which is insane. We have all of our crucial levels within a 50-cent range, but good shit. See, Eric's on it. Yo, yo, yo. What's up, Matty Clams? Golden pocket of today's AM gap is Friday's control point. Every sector except for tech is red. XLF is falling hard. Exactly, guys. Tech is pretty much by itself on that move up. So that's why your SPY chart is going to have that indifference in that move up because you have other weights like XLF, which is actually pretty decent. XLP staples, our healthcare sector, and our discretionary sector all going down at the same time. And comms was red at first. They were trying to go down, but they look like they're bouncing here in the next or last couple seconds. But XLK, basically just because it was working by itself, we can see a lot of these big weights too. It's not like I'm just covering small sectors. There's large weights of the market that are just not moving. So that's why you didn't see such a big move there on your SPY chart. But if you go over to Triple Q, it's like, what the hell? That thing was looking like it was going to pump. I mean, it almost did hit the previous day high. Also, good reminder, guys. Look how far away we are from our all-time highs. Tech, not that far off. SPY, I can literally see this in a spitting distance on a 5-minute chart. There it is. So we're really not that far off the highs. And I like to always go over this because some people will be like, man, I feel like things are bearish. And they'll say that just because we haven't moved up or something, which to be fair, if you do go to your larger time frame, which we'll go back a quick second, it looks like SPY is trying to fall out under that level real quick, but just chill for a second. Here we go. So if you look here, if you were looking at the Thursday candle, which is this candle here, this would indicate that we at least need to go test this area, right? Because you have a bullish hammer. It broke down. It ended up holding back up before the end of the day. Ended up getting a pretty good close around a key area. And again, if you know what these levels are from my channel, awesome. But this is just the all-time high supply on the daily, similar to how I drew on the 5-minute, just a little bigger because it's a bigger time frame. And then all these white lines are just drawdown 50%, meaning price fell from here to here before it bounced short term, before it fell more. So I drew that. That's what I got there. Same thing from here to here, 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 except I didn't keep going because I just wanted to make it this many. But that's all they are. They're just draw down 50%. It's just a fancy way of drawing a 50% of a drop. It's the same thing you would do if you had like a big area between like merging candles. It's basically the same damn thing. Or like when you draw a gap up 50% or a gap down 50%. So basically, what Thursday's candle says is that we should at least go up and hit this area. What did we do Friday? We went up. We tried to go and hold above it. Couldn't. Failed under. We even rejected under it again. So what does this indicate to us on the daily time frame? That as long as we can't get above 687 area, we probably will see some slowdown or even pullbacks, right? And that's just logical thinking there. I didn't bring out some fancy indicator. I didn't go over any crazy, black magic or anything. We just actually just covered some super basic levels. So 687, we can keep that in the back of our mind, even as we're looking at these kinds of levels here for like our short-term scalp thinking. Like, oh, I want to break this down and get this down to previous day close, or I want to short this from here and get this down to the previous day low. That's great. But you can also take away that 687 is failing again from your larger time frame. So make sure you're not just focused on your 5 minute, your 1 minute, your 3 minute, your whatever minute today, but you're also looking down or back up at your daily time frame. It is going to be very helpful at the beginning of the week to kind of give you some short-term direction, because it really is just telling you a story. I mean, it told us we we're going to go hit this. We did it. Now it's like, well, if we can't get above it, what are we going to do? We're either going to sit here for a couple of sessions because we do have some important news midweek this week, so that would make sense that we didn't go anywhere. Or we are going to pull back under 684.40s with a good rejection of 687 again. If we don't see that, of course, super obvious, oh, we should break new all-time highs, That's already obvious. It's like, you're not fancy for calling that out. Because it should technically keep going, but we have news this week. We can see that there is some short-term struggle here from Friday and the beginning of today so far at 687. So that's some context that you need to take away from and actually apply to some of your trade. Apply to some of the thinking behind your trade. Why am I shorting from here? Yes, a bearish candlestick popped up, but why did I short that bearish candlestick that popped up there? Because it was against an area that I saw that was struggling the past couple days. See, now you have more logical thinking behind what you're actually doing, putting yourself in a higher probability situation. Right now, we just opened against it, so I can't really say, oh, fuck, this looks super bearish. It's a higher open. We didn't even break anything yet. And you can use your 684.40 as kind of a safer level to short away from, besides just shorting at the open from here. But if you do see a good push up into this, like we saw Friday, and they do show some struggle under it, not just once, but twice, you probably will see another pullback from there. And that's just passive thinking. All right, I'm going to go back to those other levels so we can get our short-term stuff. But I wanted to go over that because the daily time frame can literally like speak to you sometimes. It's just, are you listening? If that makes sense. Just extending that one. But yeah, hopefully some of that info is helpful. That's just one of the things you can look at to kind of help yourself with direction. And then you pile on your sector information, like knowing what XLK can do. I think it's pretty important. Like if you're ever looking to short the market, I think it's very smart to have this on your side. I think if you're looking to long the market, I think it's smart to have this on your side more times than not, just because it does weigh so much more than everything else. I think that's just a basic, indication of something. I don't see that as like, just something that can help you with confirmations, make you feel more safe, make you feel like you're in a way better setup. But yep, that's my take. That's my hot take of the day. By the way, who saw Eli Lilly, man? Can we just take a quick gander at this? I mean, dear Christ. I said 1030 was a good target. It hit 1,000. And then Coca-Cola. Where are my Coca-Cola enjoyers at, man? I mean, we were happy with this candle the next day. Don't get me wrong, but oh my lord, it did just keep falling. Happy to see that. Yeah, hopefully we get some trades like that this week. I was wanting to swing, where is it? Coin, but kind of glad I just avoided it last week after we were done with Coca-Cola and whatever. Avgo is another one we were looking at for longs. We're in so many other trades. We're like, we'll probably skip out on this idea. But I'm glad to see it up though. I honestly have not been looking at IWM, even though I'll sit here and be like, you guys need to look at this more. Wow, they just rejected all-time high supply. That's what that is. You guys believe that small caps are rejecting all-time high supply today? I think I have that right. Yeah, that is all-time high supply. Interesting. I see SPY is a little bit red still. It's probably because our tech chart's cooling off. Yeah, you can see triple Q's cooled off. It looks like if we fall under today's open and maybe even 626.50s, tech charts could start falling a little bit more, which would bring an easier dip on your SPY chart. So I would definitely look at that. It looks like we are moving away from the key direction, though, or key area. At least here in the first, 12 minutes, 13 minutes? Be sure to drop a like on the stream, share the stream link around. As you can see, we don't like to just call out. We like to also go over things and the thinking behind the different things that we go over in here. I think it's insane how there's so many just signals right here in front of you sometimes, but we just don't hear them, like I said earlier. And it's just because you just need to go over them more. Like basic stuff, like candlestick pattern with good positioning. Sometimes that can lead into one of the best trades of your life. It's like, oh my God, that was so easy. Yeah, it was easy because you gave yourself a lot of reasons for it to be easy. It wasn't easy. There's no difficulty behind it. It's just you put yourself in a better scenario. Like when people are like, dude, I got so lucky on that dip. It's like, I mean, you're not really lucky. I mean, luck is a part of it, sure, but you put yourself in a good position to where you could have caught that opportunity, and then it happened to just give you a lot more than you expected, A little bit's that luck, but it's also takes a little bit of skill to even be in that position. Matt, if you just sat cash, you wouldn't have caught a big dip or a big jump or just a good overall trade. Maybe you just like how sound it was, the reasoning behind it. Oh, a lot of talking here at the open, as usual. Good morning to everybody. Let me know what you guys did this weekend, if you did anything cool or whatever. How was your weekend? Anything are you looking at this morning? Let me know what tickers you're looking at. I know most of us are probably looking at SPY or Triple Q or weights of these or SPX. I know we're probably all looking at mostly similar things. But if there's anything outside of that, let me know. It is free to type in the YouTube stream, so definitely just let me know. And good stuff, Eric. I don't know I already said that, but really good updates on just super key levels like that. It's also crazy how all these different key levels line up sometimes. It was my birthday Thursday and my older sister's 40th birthday on Saturday, so we had a huge surprise party for her. Good, damn, that's crazy. All's birthdays are so close. Nice though, nice. Happy belated birthday, Alst. Or should I say Heracicium Erinaceus? It literally sounds like a Roman general. I know, I already know what it is because you told us, but it literally just sounds like a Roman general. Like, chill, bro, chill. We get it. Yeah, happy belated birthday, man. I'm sorry I didn't tell you when it was actually your birthday. Not like you probably cared, but yeah. Here's to some more solid swings ahead of us. I did want to play Netflix last week as well, if you guys remember, and that thing dumped like hell. Honestly, everything dumped. I don't know why I even sit there and pretend like, oh, my analysis is so good. Like, we did cover a couple of short setups, and then there was like 2 long setups that I liked that I'm pretty sure also dumped. Yeah. I did point this out though. I said we were a little early on MO because it's not actually above a level, and then this is what happened the next day. I was like, all right, this is going to be very bad, and it indeed was. It did just keep falling, so that was good that we pointed that out. And then I already remembered the other one that I wanted. We didn't even touch the other one. Oh, it was Royal Caribbean. We didn't get in this yet though. I want this candle, or no, it was one of these 2 candles. One of these candles were looking a lot better, and then the end of the day dumped, and I was like, well, that looks like shit now. So I just didn't post anything else on it, but I do want people to add this to their watch list. I think RCL and CCL are like historically really good to just trade. Pretty sure they're liquid, so I don't remember which one's more. I'm pretty sure this one's less expensive, but in terms of like options, but I'm pretty sure they're both tradable from what I remember. I do believe RCL is the better one, if my memory serves me correct. Also, it just makes more sense because they're like the higher quality cruise line, I guess you could say. I mean, they're both insane quality, don't get me wrong. Not hating on cruise lines, but I do believe Royal is the one that's like for the upper echelons. Cool though. SPY is still just pulling it back away from the key area, as we talked about a couple times this morning. Any kind of push away from this, rejection of this, definitely not a good sign. And we already talked about how in the larger time frames we're also under the 687.05, which also kind of indicates that we should go down as long as we're under it. Kind of thinking. Of course, if we come down just to hit here and kind of build some base, that's awesome. But that's another dollar down. So we'll see what happens here. But so far, I mean, it's kind of doing what we expect. Moving under the area we said it should move under if it's under. Keeping it super simple, not trying to make it some super complex breakdown. There is a bunch of levels here. I know it looks kind of restarted because I have it kind of zoomed in super crazy, but this is what it looks like. There's a lot of consolidation from not just last week, but the end of the week before. So we do have some good spaced out levels down here in case you haven't noticed. You'll see some surprise repeats if you've been around me for a while. I have some of them unmarked now because I got tired of having so many levels, but like 680, I think it's like 674 and 671. I think you could chart like 60 different ways and you'll end up with one of those 3 levels or all 3. So you will see some repeat levels if we end up pulling back. I'll have to add some more and we'll see some repeat levels again. For now, though, this is clean. We don't have to worry about anything crazy. I also added some above all-time high levels if you didn't notice in the chat the other day. There's actually a big one at 695. There's a big one at 700. And I had 2 targets that actually line up with this right here. I just didn't want to have like 60 levels on my screen, so I just made it the all-time high supply. But there are some really good levels up there, and then that's just 50% of them. So there are really clean levels above all-time high. It's not just an empty abyss up there. There are levels. Honestly, if you see any more bearish candlesticks or rejections under 686.13, you could definitely be looking at your 685, 686 same day scalps. Your only concern now is just like previous day low hasn't broken. So until that breaks, you're kind of just sitting in a trade that has a minimal amount of room. If 684.40s end up breaking, though, you're definitely looking for a larger pullback. Any retake of 684.40s after a break, or any retake of 686.60s after this break that we've already seen this morning, that could be seen as a short-term bullish indication that will probably pump to at least this highlighted area here. That's around the previous day high. So as you can see, this area is very important for direction, as I stated this morning. It just kind of sucks. It's like, all right, there at the open. But that's because we didn't have any kind of crazy gap. Previous day low is right there. A lot of the previous day's consolidation is kind of just right where we're sitting, so it kind of makes sense that the key levels are lining up like that. And then also it lines up with the 687 we saw from the daily time frame. I'd also like to point out, looks like our triple Q cooled off a lot more. Our XLK, our pure blood tech chart. This is why I say check this more, because this will have you believe we're a little bit more bearish than we are. While the XLK chart shows you we're still kind of just holding above a good area. But as you can see, though, this kind of lines up with exactly what I just said on SPY. Excuse me. Any more weakness on SPY and we'll see some pullback. What would that do with our XLK chart if they were pulling back at that same amount of time? They'd be breaking key levels like today's open. Yeah, so that lines up. Let's go to the 2-day 5-minute. I can zoom out a little bit more. I like seeing some of the previous context to my left. I don't know why. I think it just makes me more comfortable. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know if you guys do that or if you guys zoom in like crazy or what. I love this, dude. I love watching the 1 minute and the 5-minute, man. The way you guys should be looking at this, like, is like a story. Like, you always start from the open. Like, what has it done? I mean, there's some pretty clear bearish movement there, right? And then it had a little bounce, right? Pretty obvious bearish candlestick right there. So I think we could all have guessed, oh, I wonder if it falls. It's just crazy how it happens in one candle. While your buyers take so many candles to work back up to one thing. It's crazy. And then let me delete all that because it is kind of insanely hard to look at. After knowing all that, it's like we know that we're everything bearish so far from the open. And again, just from the open. I'm not saying this is the end of the world. And then you could see when we did pull back down, we did make a new low, but we wicked it and we held it. So it's like there was a big low here made and then a big fight. So now it's like there's a liquidity grab happening for energy to go back up or volume or whatever you want to call it. But there's reason to believe why this could pump back up into this level. So now you're about to look to see, okay, if this holds above this, maybe it does keep going up. That would be your thinking to see if you can get back above today's open. And of course, that's what we want to see there as well. Any further weakness under this level, though, it's like, okay, shit, maybe I should start scalping this back down towards the low. So just quick 1 minute scalp thinking. I only go over this stuff. That is literally my most viewed video on my channel. People really like it when I go over, like, just telling the story of the chart. This is like, that's all I've ever done is just kind of cover this story. And it's kind of funny because, like, over key levels, like over pre-market high, you're targeting previous day high if it's there. Under pre-market low, you're looking for previous day low if it's there, or whatever other key level you have. Like, it's just super basic thinking. It's nothing crazy. And even like just showing examples of using volume. But it's just like, I don't know. Like, I'm on the same chart the whole time, and then I go to, wow, look, it says FB. This is before it was meta. And you could see, like, the storytelling, like, rising volume. Then it had some consolidation, but didn't really do anything to kind of be like, hey, we're bullish. No, it's still showing kind of weakness there. Fell more. Couldn't even retake it the second time. So what does the context of this tell you compared to this? Well, this had the power to at least get over this. It just looked weak, right? This didn't even get over this, and it looked weak. So now you're probably even more bearish because you could see that the intent is picking up. So you can see we're rejecting now. Let's see though. We got a couple of minutes before the end of this 5-minute candle. I am on the 1 minute, but I like to track that 5-minute candle as well. It's only been a minute, almost 2 minutes into this 5-minute candle. But so far, this is another bearish rejection under 686.13. We'll see if we get any follow through. It's a little awkward here because as we literally just covered, we had that low and then a liquidity grab happened and they had that move into that recent lower high, but they didn't do anything. They didn't go past it. So we should be in the mindset that this should pull back a little bit more again to decide, can it break this low or does it want to go over 686.13? So we're kind of stuck here now. But that's the live 1 minute analysis, the context of the story so far from the open. Be sure to drop a like on the stream, share the stream link around. Let me know what you guys are looking at. Oh my God, Eli Lilly's at under 1,000. Those are the kind of plays that'll motivate you to find another one. Don't ever look at it and be like, oh my God, I'm missing out on so much money. Like, you should look back at it and be like, damn, I want to get another one. I want more. But in a calculated way, you don't want to just start randomly trading the next chart you see just because you force some setup to look good on it, which is very easy to do. You could easily trick yourself into being like, yeah, this looks great. I like this. Just because you want to get into a trade, just to get it out of your system. Definitely don't do that. As we said, the more we see weakness under 686.13, the higher the probability picks up that we'll go and test that 684.40 area, which is around the previous day low. So far, we've seen a break, a retest, and a lower high of that retest under 686.13. The only thing that could be scaring some people, or maybe even the volume hasn't picked up yet, is just because at the low made today, we did wick under it and retake it very quickly. So there's a little bit of bullish intent right here, but as you can see, it was very short-lived, and we're already pulling back down again. So we should be testing a little bit lower down towards 684.40s. We'll see here in a little bit. Or at least going down to the meteor part of the previous day low, even if we don't go down and perfectly touch this level. It would be nice to see the meteor side of the lows of yesterday be touched, or Friday, I should say. Just because we've seen so many signs of weakness under the key area so far. You've been in Tesla charts for a while. Think you'll hold into tomorrow. Let's see what Tesla did. Oh, that's a very good candle for you. And of course, it did gap down, but if it was to close like this, that would be a bearish kicker. I mean, it already kind of is because it opened under the entirety of yesterday. A lot of people look at this and they think it's just a gap down, but it's a little bit more than that. A gap down is like, let's say we have a red session, right? And then the next session opens right here and it goes down. Like that would be a gap down, right? This is a little bit more than a gap down. This day closed up and then the next day opened entirely under it. So it's a little bit more, there's a little bit more pressure behind that. Very good find, though. It's a good weak candle against a lower high. A little risky, but I like your pattern with positioning right there on the daily. And if you do get a good close, just even like that today, that'd be a very good short-term sign for you. Good luck on your trade, though. Very nice. Is this going to pull back or what, guys? At this point, I just want it to move. And yeah, if you guys have any updates for me on any other charts or on SPY itself or whatever, feel free to share. I'm always happy to hear what everyone else is doing too. It's not just about me in here. XLV is really like, yo, fuck this. I'm having a red day. I mean, it is the exact amount down as tech is up today. Which is something notable because healthcare... Oh, no, healthcare is a lot lower now. But they are almost about 10% of SPY. Which you could say is a third of what pressure the tech chart brings. So that's something. Like I said, if you see this tech chart continue to pull back towards this area or even break this area here, you'll probably see a lot larger red candles on charts. but we haven't seen that yet. So if you're someone here looking for like death charts, that's probably what you're waiting for. That would probably be why we haven't dumped all the way down here yet. That tech chart's just not giving up yet. And like I said, that is very important to know, guys, because again, it is almost 35% of the market when you're looking at the SPY. It amazes me how many people don't know that too. If you told somebody who is even just fresh on the market the last couple of years, yo, what are the sectors of SPY? They would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I won't lie, Alexis. That's why I did same weeks, because I was like, holy shit, this is so expensive. Like, I could afford it, but I was like, do I want to afford it? I did good on my trade, though. I'm not complaining on Eli Lilly. But damn, it could have been better. But now that I look at that, I'm like, man, I'm proud, though, because, like, I literally just did the same thing we do every time. Me and Sherman have been doing this for, like, almost 6 years now on this swing setup. That's why I still shout out that old guy's channel. Rest in peace, Stephen Bigelow, because, like, me and Sherman genuinely thought we were the only people in the world doing this strategy with these exact EMAs. And then when we found someone who was doing kind of a very similar strat and had actual like terminology for things, we learned a lot more because we were like, holy shit, there's like a professional doing it. So even like before the break of the 8, you could see like we're able to kind of call out like, oh, okay, this should probably fall because this is a clear bearish indication. Like I said, people think this is just a gap down. That's not just a gap down. That's a green fucking close right there. That means everything from here to this low basically just got wiped out by a bear. That's not just like something small. That's a pretty big deal. And then getting, of course, any extra confirmation under the close of the 8 or the 9 EMA on the daily. Very awesome indication. And a lot of the time I like to go for price action targets. But Sherman will have you go for like the actual EMA targets, and it is a lot more profitable, I'll be honest, but I never have the patience. As you can see on Eli Lilly, it was just not too costly. But on Coca-Cola, same exact thing. Except this did give us what we wanted. It gave us the bearish candlestick pattern. Like I said, this isn't just a gap down. That is a bearish kicker. That is a lot stronger than a gap down. It basically said, fuck everything from the close to the low of this day. You don't exist, is what it said. Also cool because it ends up being a bearish kind of like evening star at the same time, same as that other chart. And we got the close into the EMA instead of just getting a little bit above it, where it's a little bit risky. Very risky in my opinion, because the 8 and the 9 are notorious for what we like to call like retracements, or like when something goes down too much, we call it a retention, like where it goes back up to the EMA. A lot of the time, the 8 or the 9 is what it's going to. The 21 though is just a good kind of secondary target. But like I said, I like to mix in like actual price action targets. Like I think anybody with a brain can see that there's support right here. So if you're going to short from here, you should have some sort of initial target in this area outside of just saying, oh, the 21 EMA. So it's kind of smart to combine both. I don't think you should just use the EMAs or just use price action. It is kind of nice to have both when you're doing that swing setup, but it is, you could still do it without EMAs, is how powerful price action is. Like I've had a hard time understanding how people just rely on indicators when your price action is literally speaking like a very universal language to all of us, right? And if something is historical, like a Rice trader way back in the day, saying, you realize when Rice traders invented patterns, right? They didn't have fucking screens like you and me do. They didn't have all this digital bullshit like you and me do, right? They had to actually plot where the day opened and closed for rice prices that day. They'd bring it up on this little board and they'd actually plot, oh, this is where it opened, this is where it closed. And they drew the patterns, and then they learned over time, oh, this is what's happening. Oh, this means it's bearish. This means it's bullish. This means it's sideways. This means hold up, wait for the next signal, like our dojis. There's always something that these candlesticks are literally just saying to us. And I really want to start driving that home more, because I've seen people struggle with that this year, even in my own chat. And it's like, dude, there's a evening star there. Why are you bullish? Or, yo, bro, there's a bullish kicker there. Why are you bearish? It's like we really need to hammer that home more. Not just right here, what's in front of us on the 1 to the 5 minute, but what did the daily time frame just do? And you'll see I do that in my streams all the time. I try my best to go over like, what did this just do? What did this just do? And then I can go over to the 5 minute. I have a little bit of context. I have a little bit of history in my head on what this chart just did. So what can I expect it to do based on that? It's why I compare it to like movies or shows, right? Let's say you're watching a movie and in the beginning of the movie, you see the guy kill the main character, or the main character kill somebody. By the end of the movie, we're in a court, or something. You have the context on who did what, as a viewer. Of course, in the movie, all the people don't. They're in court. But it's just like you have a context as the outside viewer. It's the same thing with this. You should be gathering the context that's literally popping up in front of you to apply for your next decisions or to apply for whatever, is next. To trade or not to trade, whatever it's telling you. I'm running out of oxygen. But yeah, key patterns. And then you apply that with like key levels, like, oh guys, I saw that we dumped today. But when we fell, when we went the previous day low, we made a hammer. And it ties back to like everything we've covered. A lot of the time at the top and lows of your days, you have hammers or dojis that somewhere pop up. Now, not really as prevalent up here. Pretty annoying candle right there. But a lot of the time at the tops and bottoms of your trends, you have hammers or dojis. You can see it here as well. But that's another conversation. I'm out of oxygen. Still looking to see if we get that pull back into the 684.40s. Nothing indicates anything else otherwise. But definitely a little boring because we have a lot of consolidation here towards the end of the day from Friday. Also, we didn't get that tech dump, like I said. If you're looking for a large red pullback, you're looking for a tech dump as well. We're not getting that. They look like they're actually trying to pull up a little bit. Which, if that pans out and does end up rallying back up, we'll probably see SPY go back and test today's open or near it. If that's the case. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is key direction really relies on tech right now. Healthcare just keeps pulling back. And nothing else is really helping tech. Everything's pulling back except tech. So maybe we should just watch this chart. No, I'm just kidding. I won't bore y'all. The chart is kind of boring. But yeah, how was everybody in the stream? Sorry for all the ranting, but a lot of good topics today in the first 40 minutes of today's stream. Generally, this first 40 minutes was like a little workshop. And guys, what kind of highs or lows do we got here? We got a bunch of lower highs. Talked about this one, talked about this one. Since then, we've seen another one. Got another hammer here, followed by a hammer. It's literally just looking for a new low into the previous day low. Anything else would be surprising. Of course, not that surprising since we know tech is the one thing holding us from dumping. This pulls back, though. That could really start to free up that chart on SPY. See what we get. Hopefully some of the updates help. I really just drive basic patterns and price action in here and sectors. Nothing super crazy. I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like what we do here is fancy or anything. Keep it simple. It'll be easier to trust. You like the workshop-like streams? I do them on accident. I want you to know none of that is planned. I come in here just go at it. Whatever I think needs to be said. But I try to keep it around the same topics. I mean, it's not like I'm ever in here talking about 60 different things. I'm pretty much always talking about the same few things. Back in the day, you would have heard me just saying, guys, above pre-market high, target previous day high. Guys, below pre-market low, target previous day low. Nowadays, you're hearing me say a little bit more than that. Going a little bit more in depth on why I'm saying what I'm saying. Because I don't want to say, guys, above today's open, be long, or like today, I've been saying I think this is going to go down into 684.40s. I don't want to say that and make you just jump into bearish trades because you think I'm calling out shorts. I want you to understand why I'm saying that. And you'll see across every sector, they look like shit, right? The only thing that's really protected us from dumping today is tech. I mean, this is the main reason we haven't dumped yet. And someone will say, well, why do you say that, Bueller? It's like, I just said that because it's about 35% of the S&P. That's a pretty large percentage compared to every other sector. And then you combine that with just basic price action, right? I'm saying between here and here, if we're above this area, higher probability that we go up. If we're below this, higher probability that we're going down. Down to what? Up to what? And then you have your other key levels to kind of help with that. What other context can we use? Basic trend, basic price action, like I've been covering this morning's stream. We have lower highs all right here. We had a pretty clear dip under the key area very instantly from the open. Just using your context. And you can see we have made a pretty decent move into that direction. But I wouldn't sit here and be like, oh my God, guys, who all caught that $1.50 dip? You know, like we called it that it was going to dip, but it hasn't really done anything else outside of that. This isn't that special. Like, it's just basic price action. It gets special when you get those larger dips or those larger pumps over the open. And if you can get really good at catching like BTD setups or lead tests, like understanding from the dip to the median of the dip, you know, I tried to catch a bearish pattern right here because it's a basic lower high. You know, being able to catch calculated lower highs or calculated higher lows of consolidation is very important because that can set you up for really good risk reward trades. That's why I always say those are probably the best two setups you could find. And of course, we have playlists and gone over those a million times. But yeah. Yeah, good job, anybody who's been paying attention. This morning, I've kind of just been calling out this to pull back towards the lows of yesterday, kind of to the meteor side of this. And we have made it down to this candle here. Let's see if we can actually get down to 684.40s. Kind of keeping my left eye is always open on this number here, seeing if it's going to keep going down or go back up, basically. Keeping it pretty simple there for you. Always keep your Popeye open on your XLK number. It'll look like Popeye. I'm actually going to trim some here because we did make it to the meat of this candle like I was talking about earlier. We were talking about the 685s and the 686s earlier in the stream. I always like to do it when we first approach the area because there's always that chance you get like a quick buyer reaction if it is like a, you know, buyer dip, because technically we are still above previous day low. And then if you do end up getting that bigger dip, it's kind of nice to have that chance of taking like that final trim on the other half of it. But if it does end up bouncing, it's like, okay, fuck, I'll just take a smaller win. So you end up with a smaller win or you end up with a larger win. You almost never end up with anything outside of that, unless you're just greedy and you just end up holding because you don't know how to get out of anything. But don't be greedy. But that's my thinking behind that. That's why I say that, because it feels like you give your chance on both scenarios. But let me know, guys, if the updates have been helpful. I'm trying to be reasonable and actually cover why I'm saying what I'm saying, not just I'm bearish under level like a caveman. You know, we're actually trying to cover the reasoning behind it so you can also just do it on your own. But yeah, be sure to drop a like on the stream. Hope the updates have been helping. Tech being stubborn, but XLV doesn't give an F. Damn, Nvidia gave up that entire pump. Apple gave up that entire bump. Microsoft is one of the few still sitting up there. I think AV goes up with it still. Yeah, AV goes up there still. And AMD is still up. But your top two weights, Nvidia and Apple, pulled back. So even though it looks like XLK didn't go anywhere, the two top weights of XLK did. And then your healthcare sector got worse. And I think XLY got worse. No, they're still in there. Didn't get worse, but went right back to where they were at the low. That makes sense. I updated SPX and the VIP if anybody wants to go peep that. Making sure everybody in the Discord's caught up and everything. All right. Going back to the SPY. Now we look back at that and we're happy that we at least trimmed because it did bounce into the previous day low, which is historically accurate. You're not always just going to dump through the previous day low, which, I mean, that would be nice if it did that for us, for anybody trying to short at that moment. But a lot of the time you will get some sort of initial reaction to this, even if it does end up dumping under it shortly after. It doesn't matter. But I do like to always initially take that first low just because it just feels like it's smart. You get a piece of this scenario. If it does end up dumping, you get a piece of that scenario. If it ends up not dumping, well, then you guess what? You get to test out your discipline. Cut your position, boss, and be cool with it. Yeah, I hope some of the like updates, I don't like to call them like call outs, even though that's kind of what they are, but I don't really want to call them that. But I hope some of the updates are helpful to anybody in here. Since we've seen a test of previous day low, what we're looking for now, just for an update, is to see, does this lower high trend break? Do we kind of break this trend of making more lower highs? Because if that trend doesn't break, then we probably should go down and do what I just talked about. It should go down and probably make a new low under previous day low. So kind of looking just to look for a BTD setup now. If you don't get new lows, is what I'm basically saying. If anybody doesn't know what the hell I just said, please feel free to ask for a further breakdown on that. Healthcare is down 1.4, man. I'm not going to lie, Garden. Your like sector post, I think, really helped me figure that out really quickly last week. I have to give some credit to those posts. That definitely put me in like a better mindset for where all the sectors were. Because a lot of the time I do just straight up check tech. But it was kind of fun because we saw tech like slowed down. So I was like, all right, which sector's pulling back? Because it's almost never tech first. It's almost something else first. And then tech follows if it is that bearish. So I was like, all right, which one is it? And it's always either like staples or healthcare or what's the other one? XLI. It's almost one of those three every time. No basing yet, but we're looking to see if we're basing or if lower highs are still intact, which so far they are. Be sure to drop a like on the stream, guys. Share the stream link around. It helps out the channel. At least it's what I'm told. Today, so far, all we did was short from lower highs under 686.13 into the lows of previous day. Nothing super crazy. Right now, we're looking to see if lower highs are still intact to give us those crazier pullbacks, or if we're going to hold here. and bounce off the previous day lows. One other outside indicator that's kind of helping us pretty much every time we go over this shit is the XLK chart. It just has so much pull on the S&P, so it's very important. And it has kind of helped noticing that the top two weights of the market are going down right now from their large pumps initially from this morning. So a cool off has definitely happened from those initial pumps. Microsoft and Avgo are definitely helping us stay up a little bit right now, though. It could have been a lot worse of a dump if those didn't stay up like they did. We consider XLK still just 1.11. It's kind of been around the same number the entire time, even during that pullback. Pretty crazy. I'm just retyping what I said. Thanks. It's definitely a good tool to have. Yeah, the sectors are OP. See, we're getting more red candles. Lower highs are remaining intact, and liquid just went down by 0.10. It's even under point. It's under 1 now, and these are all still red. Like, it is that easy sometimes. But you see how you can't just do just one or just the other. Like, if you were just sitting here staring at this, you might still have a decent picture, but it would be hard to like actually trade something. Whereas, like, if you're going over both, you kind of set yourself for something you can actually take advantage of, and you have like a live confirmation of something, like telling you that it's going up or down. What drives this? And it's crazy how many people trade SPY without knowing what drives SPY's movement. They'll be like, oh, it's Trump's tweets, or it's when airplanes fall out of the sky, or it's when China does trade deals, or it's Russia, or it's this, or it's that, or Israel. You know, it's like, no, it's the sectors. It's just math. It's simple math. Look, tech's under $1 now. Wow, new low of day. And we're still in part of our position. We took a fat trim on this candle. And now we set up to kind of put ourselves in a position where we could catch another low. Look at that, 684.45. Let's fucking go, guys. What was the target? 684.40s. Now, since we're actually down here, I should probably try to find a target in between instead of trying to fuck everybody over. All right, now you have 2 more target areas. I'm gonna take profit right there with tech at the low, and then I'll get in on another trade if we get a retest of something. But that was over 94%. Damn. Someone just messaged me and said, "Hey Bueller, do you need to sign up with your Discord to post again?" Guys, someone help me. Am I not streaming right now live for free? Someone help me out here. That is just breaking my brain. Yo, who caught some of those shorts though with me? Come on, man. Somebody help me out here. Who caught some shorts with me today? I even called this scary bounce just now. Not trying to be cocky, but I hope you guys are doing good. I hope somebody caught some of that with me. No Play Safe. God, what a fucking name. That is a great name. No Play Safe, but with KNOW. I did, baby. I missed it just showing up. You're good. We'll do a review here in a second for anybody who might have missed. But I honestly, I might need to just cut today's stream and cut the first 40 minutes as like a workshop. Because if anybody was in here in the first 40 minutes today, and I'm not even sitting here as like, oh, who caught those shorts with me? I really hope people learn from what we were covering, though. All I did was cover basic pattern recognition, lower highs, under key levels, and what else could be driving a dip beyond that. Tech, using XLK to help us out for direction. Seeing these other sectors continuously be a little bit more bloodier than not kind of piles onto that as well. And then even for a second, kind of pointing out a good target for ourselves to chill out for a second, because you shouldn't just hold the trade forever when you're scalping. That's something I've definitely come to learn over the years. Don't marry your trade. If you do, you're going to get caught on dip buys more times than not because you're expecting it to keep going every dip. Guess what, guys? Bearish markets don't happen every day. I probably sounded like a pussy too when I was taking profit there, but that's why I went to the XOK and I was like, hold up, it's kind of at a low. I should take some profit there, and I'm glad I did. We're getting a short-term bounce, and anybody looking to hold for a little bit longer is getting fucked right now. Which, even if it does come back up and reject this, cool, whatever. Like, we just caught our piece from here. If you were in here with me, I waited until here to be like, all right, I'm looking at 685, 686s. We brought it up here as well, just to kind of short-term put ourselves in that mindset of like, all right, I think I'm going to be shorting this soon. We'll see, though. You know, you're never just like, oh, that one thing appeared. I'm in bearish. Like, you got to warm yourself up to it. It's like, as cringe as this sounds, it's like a relationship. Like, you don't just like meet somebody and you're like, yep, you and me are getting married. Like, no, you kind of work up to it. It's the same thing with this. Like, you work yourself into getting into the trade with your confirmations and signals pointing something out to you. You don't just see that one thing and you're like, yep, I'm in. If you trade something that relies on like seeing one thing to get you in, you're trading a very low probability system. It's your B-Day, Elias? By the way, great job on that, bro. Happy for you. Happy birthday, bro. Damn, it was just Al's birthday. Now it's Elias's birthday. Honestly, you should. That was a fire first 40. Thank you, Matty Claims. I appreciate that. It means a lot coming from you. I just showed up 50% retracement from 1 minute high / low is PDL. Jesus. Yeah, Eric was pointing out a bunch of levels too that lined up with a bunch of shit. It's crazy, dude. All the key levels lined up today, and it paid. Is this the channel where everyone prints money by actually doing the work? Yep, this is that channel, bro. Welcome. Welcome, Tobias. Good to see you, brother. How's the weather over there in Europe land? Especially for my silly ass, because I entered a tad bit too early with a fairly tight stopping us stop, but then watched it play out beautifully. Great mental play, but just somewhat poor execution. Oh, okay. But hey, at least you were like, at least you had the, at least you didn't have the ego in you, though. I think most people have like this ego in them where they're like, well, I'm too good to hear this shit just because I did something and I didn't do what he did or do what that person did. Like, you didn't have any ego in you. You're just like, all right, well, hold up. I can take something away from this still. Good shit. Alexis said, happy birthday to y'all both. We're a little late on Alice, but we're on time with Elias. Good morning, friends. What's up, Danak? I don't know if I can read the rest of that name. Danak on Stantopopulus. Hip Hop Anonymous. Make it a workshop. I couldn't watch. Bet. I got you. What's up, Tobias? Yeah, we just caught a big trade to the downside. I'm chilling now. I want to read some comments. I pretty much was not reading chat the entire time, so I want to catch up. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Good lesson learned. Weather is average. The December depression generator is here. Have not seen the sun in 8 days. Oh, my God. Is that how people in Alaska feel? Isn't there like a month in Alaska where they don't even see the sun or some shit? That'd be horrible. Yep, we can look at him now, Alexis. I'm chilling, bro. I don't want to look at SPY for another like 20 minutes. So let's go look at some shit. I think it's good to kind of put yourself some timing in between your trades. Wait, you said Disney and what? Oh, I went to the other one. I don't even know what this is on my screen right now, I'll be honest. These have to be like monthly or weekly areas. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, they're monthly. Okay, I was drawing just random shit on here for some reason. It looks like I was watching this on the monthly, though. Is there monthly supply demand? It's holding the low, and then you had a nice hammer on the monthly, and it's just been rallying since. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of trading options on Ford. I know some people who do great with it, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan. Oh my God, you found a gem on this one. Also, y'all need to check the chat. Grass-fed and Garden both posted like multiple setups that look really, really good on daily time frame. I think CoreWeave was one of them. This is another one that looks just like those setups, though, where it's got the dip from here to here. I want to see what targets it hit. It hit the 50 and almost 100. Which this is actually a pretty popular area for these to tap out. Normally you go to 1, but going to 2 is pretty crazy. They popped up and are holding the first one again with that like higher low look to go bump. This is the kind of setup that you're like, all right, I think it's going to go bump its head against this. You know, you're not expecting it to go up to this off one move. You're not expecting it to. I mean, actually, you are expecting it to go to here. No, that's a good one. I think we looked at this a couple weeks ago or something. I don't think I remember this gap down though. It definitely did a lot since then. That's what this looks like as of right here, right now. Of course, if this wicks down, fucking breaks these two areas here, like same sense as this. If you see this end up breaking, like it probably is looking to go down and test the 101, and then you have that third fib extension at 97. So it would make sense that they do like a liquidity grab type move under 100, in case you do see that larger bearish move. So I wouldn't just look at that as like a bullish thing. Right now you are, but if you do see this break, also set that up for a bearish trade potentially. If a good pattern pops up and you like it, you like the timing of it. I need to quit looking at you, Lily. You went long Skype and Alb, but 10 years making me want to go risk off. Thanks again for the kid. Want to make some. Oh yeah, I was reading y'all's conversation earlier. As soon as I read the first like couple lines from both of you, I was like, "This is some nerd talk. This is some real nerd shit." Good find on Disney, Alexis. And yeah, I'll let you know if I post anything. I tag every time I post, so we'll see how that goes. I was 2 out of 3 last week, and our one loss was like really, really small because it was the cheapest of the 3. So we did great last week. I think some people in chat want more swings each week, but it's like, no, that's not how this works. I think when you try to force more setups, you end up forcing like weaker probability setups, and then it makes you think certain things are good and then they're not, and then you force like bad habits kind of thing. And then these habits end up becoming like normal trades to you. And then you're like, why am I losing all these trades? Like, dude, because you're trading shit setups. There shouldn't be a golden setup on your chart every day. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called a golden setup. That's why I try to tell some people too, but I don't know. Some people try to force it. Can't help everyone. And it's not also good from our end to act like a know-it-all. Like, technically, there's tons of strategies that work. To pretend that we have the only one that works is like a little weird. So you can't ever tell somebody like, "But well, hold up, but I know what's right." Like, you can't talk that way because that's not true. They got to find their way. They got to find their way to something that makes them comfortable when they find something. Find their own confirmations that they like, in case they don't like something that you like to look at. You know, it's like it's not the end of the world. I just said like a lot. Like. And we talked about it, but it would make sense to see that break and retake. The only reason I said I wanted to chill out on shorting there was literally because of this chart. I really hope anybody in here takes some of that away and uses it on their own, because that is probably the freest example I think I've ever seen. Got you, fam. Good looks watching in today for possible Disney swings. I'm only monitoring my. Oh, I need to look at that for you, actually. I forgot about the airlines. I was watching DAL. I'm a really big fan of watching the DAL chart. Oh, they did keep rallying, though, from when you talked about them a couple weeks ago. If I wanted to learn about SPY price indicators, what would you recommend are the most important? SPY price indicators. What do you mean by SPY price indicators? Honestly, not even trying to like sell out myself here, but you should definitely check out like the first like 40 minutes of today's stream, and you'll see I covered just basic patterns, key positioning, key levels. I explained why they're those things, and then the sectors to help me out. Or do you mean like actual like indicators, like a SMA, EMA, Bollinger Band? Like, is that what you mean? Let me know what you mean, because I might just be not reading that right. You mentioned earlier that most people don't understand what moves the SPY. Oh, okay. That's what you wanted to know. That's okay. So yeah. But I said the first. Yeah. So that I recommend the first 40 minutes of today's stream. Honestly, I would go through and just watch today's stream. Yeah. I'll go over it again if you want. I really don't care. I love talking about the sectors. It's probably my favorite thing, because it's like it makes sense and it makes me feel comfortable when I'm looking at things. It makes me feel like I actually understand the potential directions on the SPY. Like, you're never 100% going to know. But like today was a very good example. That's why I said it's a free example, because it was just so easy today because of how things worked out. But it's not always going to work out like how today is. I want that to be clear too. But what a lot of people don't know, what I was discussing when you probably heard that, is when a lot of people trade SPY or SPX, they don't actually understand what makes it up, what makes it go red and green. They'll sit there and cry and complain and be like, it's Trump's tweets, or it's Palestine, or it's Israel, or it's Russia, or Ukraine, or it's all these things. It's FOMC, it's the Fed, fuck, it's all this data that we get, all this economic data, interest rates, none of that. I mean, yeah, those have effects, sure. That increases and decreases volatility, sure. The fear and greed in the market, sure. But what is actually causing this candle to be red, or what is causing this candle to go green, or what's causing this to go down more, And a lot of people don't know that it's just sectors. It's just basic math. If I click analyze, you can't see it because my thumbnail, but if I click analyze at the top, it'll show me what makes up SPY, the S&P, right? I see here information technology, almost 35%. That's what this one is here, XLK. So when I'm looking at this chart, I'm looking at 35% of the market, the power of the market, right? So I know that over a third of the market gapped up today and then started moving up, right? And that kind of helps me indicate early movement on SPY, like, okay, that's why we got that gap up. That makes sense. But why didn't it keep going up? Why wasn't it so beautiful and keep going up, even though I just said this is so powerful and so beautiful because it went up? Because these other sectors teamed up on it. Basically, I'm giving some very basic terminology here. They teamed up on it and beat it up. So that's why we went down. And at any moment, this gave weakness to go down. That would bring even more clear red downside on your SPY chart. Well, I'm really fucking up on my charts here, aren't I? So in short, that's what I was talking about. But I would 100% go back and watch the beginning of the stream, first 40 minutes, like I said. But I'm probably gonna, at the end of the stream, I'll save the stream and then I'll probably cut it myself and make it a video, because this was a very clear example today on how the S&P actually moves and what causes it to go up and down. And a lot of people will tell you that this is a tech chart, and it is, but it's not pure blood tech. Right, there's a lot of tech charts in this, yes, but there's also a lot of non-tech charts in the triple Q that a lot of people are unaware about. So it kind of mixes the weighting up a little bit. So if you were to watch triple Q alongside your SPY, it would help you, but you might not have it as a clear example. So that's why I like to break apart the SPY into its actual sectors. And just to show you again what all the percentages were, like our tech is 35%. And then you can see inside of tech, what are the heaviest weights? And you'll see here on the left, that's why I have NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft at the top, because NVIDIA, Apple, and Microsoft are the top weights. This is what makes up tech. So if I see NVIDIA pumping, Apple pumping, Avgo pumping, AMD pumping, I see all these tech charts pumping, so should my XLK chart. Right? And if I see other charts pumping their individual sectors, I can combine that information and be like, okay, wow. So there's a lot of things that are more green than red, basically, more bullish than bearish, or vice versa. Today was vice versa. And guys, did the lower high trend stay intact? Can anybody tell me? We did get a nice begin of basing here, but did the lower high right here break? Somebody answer that question for me in the stream. Did the lower high trend stay intact, or did it break? What happened here? Is this still telling us bears are here or not? Sorry, I was explaining that. It's the moon cycle. Intact, exactly. The lower highs are still intact. You're clear on that. Yes, sir. My bad, Ecto. Let me see what you said here. Will you be avoiding trading SPY tomorrow due to the rate announcements, or would you be intentionally trading the volatility? I mean, it really just depends if the setup is there or not. Like in today's stream, the 3 levels that we had on watch, just to kind of give another example, was the gap up 50%, that level. The previous day control point. Where's my control Z? There it is. What the hell is going on? There we go. I was hitting all the wrong buttons. What was I saying? Yes, lower highs are still intact. And then Ecto. Will I be trading the volatility? I mean, like I said, if the setup's there. Like today, the key levels were like this. They were just this key area. So In short, we were thinking if we're above this area, we should be seeing more bullish setups. If we're below this, we should be looking for more bearish setups into the previous day low. Outside of the previous day low, we'll get more information. Right now, we don't have much telling us this should be more bearish because this broke and retook. And so far, this broke. So I guess we're a little bit more bearish now, but nothing has changed. Like nothing new happened. So that's why we're not more bearish yet. But if the setup is there, sure. To be honest, though, you shouldn't really be trying to trade during those events too much. I don't think that's tomorrow, by the way. Yeah, that's Wednesday. Volatility will probably already be increasing by the end of today or tomorrow, though, due to such crucial information coming out. Am I done trading for today? I mean, I'm trying to find a second one, to be honest with you. I kind of like the potential bearish retest under 684.40s, because if we are going to fall, it's going to be under that level. But nothing new has popped up to be like, hey, we're more bearish under this level. We just kind of fall down here, and it's like a target area now. So if I see lower highs stay intact under 684.40s, another bearish retest can be taken. The contract that I would probably be looking at, though, is probably the 684, the 685. Earlier, we talked about 686, 685, and 684, but I think right now I'd look at 685 and 684. But if you see a good buy the dip retest happen here, like if this ends up holding here, and we do get a close back above this, and they do break this lower high trend intact, you probably are starting to see a move that can make it back up to this here area here. I would also make sure you're watching your tech chart, because if this is not going up, that's not going to be helpful at all. So you have a couple things to kind of help you in case this is trying to recover or not. And you got to tell yourself these things. Like, you got to tell it like I am right now to you. Like, even if I wasn't streaming, I'd be telling myself this shit out loud because it's important context. Like, if we were all watching Superman or something. Like, what's a movie everybody fucking knows? I need, like, a very basic movie example. What is a movie every human being has seen? It's got to be, like, a Disney movie or something, probably. But, like Titan... Shrek? Okay, perfect example. Grinch? Oh, wait, that's another good one. Lion King, Avatar. I love you guys. I guess let's do... Okay, whoopsta. Let's do Shrek. So, if you didn't know, like, Shrek, he's the main character, like, that's pretty important context, right? That's almost like saying we have higher lows holding previous day low, like, in a sense, because it's like, it's such basic context. Like, when you hear someone say that, you should know, oh, okay, this is probably going to get bought then. Higher lows are holding a level that I know is like an outlier for downside. So if it's being held, that means this is like the highest probability outcome for a buyer. Because as we know, best bearish trade could be like a bullish invalidation, and vice versa. Best bullish trade could be a bearish invalidation, and vice versa. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just weird, like, context. I don't know how else to explain it beyond that. Like, it's gathering context of the chart and then kind of picking up on the story, and then, like, you're not guessing at the ending. You just have a really high probability of guess. Like, you could guess the bad guy at the end of the movie, or you could guess, just basic shit. Like when you're watching a mystery movie or a crime show, you're kind of able to pick up the context clues and be like, all right, this is who I think it is, or this is what I think's going on, or whatever. That's kind of what you're doing with this, in a way. Home Alone? Wait, yeah, that is actually a good one. And this and like that's why I was saying, I guess that'd be a good example to kind of explain myself a little further on that point. Why was I asking you, are lower highs still intact? Because that's the thing that's keeping you more bearish than bullish, even if we are slowing up against levels. Just because you have this
previous recent context that like, oh, we are bearish against under key levels, so we should keep going down, until something changes. What is that something that's changing? We have a low here that's kind of forming now finally, where like the same area is being held up again around this first key area. So we're kind of looking to see, does more bearish context happen under this level, or do we see a lot more bullish context hold under this level? Because that would kind of indicate to you like, oh, okay, this is starting to slow down and pick up for bulls. Oh, this is rejecting? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's probably going to come down then. Like, you're able to make that like confident call out, I guess you could say, without making shit up. You know what I mean? That's really the goal, is you want to be able to like trust things without making shit up. Like, you should never sit here and be like, every time previous day low breaks, it is going to go down. Like, that's not true. We've seen many times a previous day low break and retake, and then you get the biggest green day of your life. It's very possible. That's why we discovered like 90% entries, because like liquidity grabs are a very real thing. The invalidation of a bear is the potential, validation of a buyer, creating heavy buying. But yeah, a lot of crazy long conversations today. But yeah, anybody just not tuning in, I will definitely be cutting the like first like 40, 50 minutes of the stream, because I want that to be like its own video. But in case you want to just go ahead and do it on your own, you could already go ahead and jump to that and start watching it. But the first 40 minutes of today's stream was a really good like workshop type breakdown to kind of prepare ourselves for what setups could be happening on today's charts. But I also want to make clear, it's not like every day is going to be like that simple. It was just super simple because every sector was red, and it kind of made tech the outlier. It made tech kind of like the lonely, the lone wolf by itself. It was by itself today, so it's kind of easy to call out what could happen. Everything was weak. Tech wasn't. Any moments that tech got weak, it could help for bigger dips on SPY. But not every day you're going to be in that exact scenario. But that is a great way to start the week. I will be streaming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. I will not be here Thursday, Friday. But I did want to let y'all know that, since I didn't even tell y'all that last week. But I will be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday streaming. Last week we did some swing trading and some scalp. I mean, we almost always do swing trading and scalping every week. I don't know why I try to act like that's like a rare thing. I just don't make a big deal out of it, so we don't have a bunch of retards in here being like, oh my god, call out something. I don't like to call out stuff. I like to go over things and kind of call out as I'm going over things, so I can keep myself comfortable in my trade and making sense of everything around me, instead of just shooting in the wind and hoping I get lucky. Taking quite some profits here to cap my portfolio out from 130% long to 65% long. How are you 130% long? Over leveraged son of a bitch. I'm glad you were going to cut and repost. Not gonna lie, I fell asleep at market open and woke up as you were taking profits. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Did you have a long night, or what's up? I know some of you guys dealing with kids and stuff, so I could understand that. Much love, guys. Currently on a 3-hour drive to Vermont, and I will lose service. Catch y'all later. Be safe, Alexis. Good luck on your trip, boss. Logging gasoline stocks, Alexis is going to have to fill up. And guys, look at that. It is dipping more. I would have been a little worried if it held here as a seller, just because you have multiple holds. But we'll see. If it holds here again, you should definitely relax as a short seller. Not bad, though. I mean, lower highs are still intact. Nothing should be, like, freaking out yet. I would say the fact that lower highs have been here all damn day is a great sign for anybody who's, like, happy to be shorting right now. It's very clear lower highs. We don't always get such a clear indication like that. Sometimes it's a little rough. Sometimes they throw some shit in between. They didn't really do that today. I guess you could say this was something that they threw in between, but I mean, that was very short lived. Who messaged me on Discord? Are they in here? Danak, are you in here? Oh, wait, you were the one that had the Papadopoulos name, I think. Yeah, if you hear me in here, man, just come in here. It's really hard for me to answer DMs because, like, there are a few people who message me. But in reality, just either keep it in the stream or bring it into the Discord trade floor. Here. And honestly, the people I've seen interact with other people, engaging with other people, those are a lot of the people that are making the most money in my chat. I don't like to make it seem like, oh, it's because of me or because of what I'm doing. Like, no, I think it's generally just because of like good teamwork, just understanding like we're all kind of looking at the same thing. So if you see someone pointing it out, and then you're also like, oh shit, I see that too. It's kind of like extra confirmation and confidence. It's a fancy trick called teamwork. But a lot of the time, I feel like you guys should get your natural confidence from that, not from, yo, this guy on Twitter posted this trade and I made money from it. Like that's not a good natural source of confidence. Good natural source of confidence is, well, through your system, but two, just having some team around you. And it's not like it costs money to type. It's actually free. If I wasn't so lazy, I probably could paywall everything, but that's just effort, you know. I don't got that effort. I like streaming to a bunch of different people. Yo, I was looking at our ages, by the way. Should I copy and paste if you miss my chat? Yeah, you should. Did I miss one? I'm pretty good about reading almost every message. If you do see me miss one, yeah, send that shit again. But only if I miss it. Caught that mad late at the retest you mentioned. On this one or the one up here? I traded this one. What the fuck did I just draw? Oh, the lines. This is the one I called out. This is the one that I was kind of just like mentioning. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I called that out. But earlier, No Play Safe was asking if I was going to keep trading, and I was like, like I personally don't care. But if anybody does want to trade more, this would be like a good retest. That's why I was asking, like, are lower highs still intact, guys? Because like, I want you kind of to figure out for yourself, but at the same time, I want to make it clear. Yeah, 10 minutes ago you slept in. Oh, fair enough. Hey man, the Leland method works, bro. Sleeping in and then catching a trade going into the first session, into the second session. It's a very real strat. The sleep in Leland method is pretty undefeated because you either find a very clear setup or there's nothing. So it's like, all right, bet. Obvious choice. You took 3-1 runner. Nice. Good shit. No play safe though. Did I miss anything? Or did I get it? You were just fucking with me. I don't want to miss anybody's messages. For some reason, I can triple leverage my account if I went to LOL. Broker saw my execution, was like, this guy is so degenerate. Let's give him max leverage. You keep missing it? I asked about Amazon. The last message I see is, are you done trading for today? And then we talked. Am I not seeing that. It's not showing for me then. That's weird. Yeah, I generally don't. It's not there. Holy shit, that dump. You want to see Amazon on like bigger time frames? You just wanted to see Amazon in general? I really don't see your message, I swear to God. I'll show you my chat in a second. But just what was it again though? You want to see Amazon like the chart on the daily or smaller time frames? 1 second. This is dumping. Holy shit, guys. You're in a put? All right. Well, you should be fine because SPY's dumping. But let me go look. I see XLY got a lot worse. Actually, this is your biggest red sector on the day. It got worse than healthcare. This is what Amazon belongs to. That's why I'm checking that first. And now I'm going to check Amazon because I wanted to get context on that first. So even if I don't have levels set like I do now, I still have some context on like, oh, well, that makes sense why it's down. It's under previous day open. It's under today's open. It's under previous day control point. So the area I have highlighted on my SPY chart is very similar to this. Right here. It's like the exact same thing. So I can take away from that and say that, yes, it had early indications it was bearish because there was a doji that failed after. So ever since these two candles appeared, this chart was technically bearish. And then everything else after this was just seeing if lower highs were still intact. You can see lower highs are intact there. Lower highs are intact here. I bet it's even cleaner on the 1 minute like when we were looking on SPY. Oh, yeah, it's fucking way cleaner. Clear lower highs. More of a double top. Clear lower highs. Clear lower highs. So anytime price went up, it didn't fail to break trend. So no reason to switch. My bad for not seeing your message. Honestly, I swear, dude, it's not there on my thing. I am sorry about that. It looks like you're good, though. Looks like you didn't even need my help. Good shit, though, guys. Second target on SPY is hitting. What is my chart doing? That was awkward. Let's go to the 1. So I can actually zoom in on the price action. And guys, what got weaker? Before I switch to that chart, what got weaker? What sector got weaker, guys? What got weaker to help SPY dump more? I guess I'll clarify that a little bit more, since I speak broken English. And guys, don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. If you're shorting and you've been shorting a good majority of this morning, don't be greedy. The first phase of the day ends in about 26 minutes. XLK, yes, you guys are fucking right on it, guys. XLK got a little bit more red. And it's not just it got more red. I think I keep displaying this point, but the open of today is a very key short-term directional level, right? Us getting down here, remember we were like, oh, let's take our profits, let's chill out for a second. It bounced, lower high stayed intact, price went down. So you had pretty good direction. You just had to be patient. Now, speaking from like a trading perspective, like that's why you're taking your trim here or taking full profit, because it's like, all right, I did my damage. It could consolidate for 30 minutes. It could consolidate for 4 hours. You don't fucking know. So that's why you at least take your piece here at the very least. So I wanted to make that clear too, because like it's so easy to be like, guys, be bearish, but not point out like what to actually do in your trade, because it is a little bit different. One's like a guideline. One's like you actually micromanaging doing something. I'm in trade. I'm out of trade. But yeah, don't be greedy, guys. If you've been shorting a good majority of today, you've been shorting the entire first phase of the day. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, there's a video on my channel where we can discuss it as well in here, but the first phase of the day is basically the first 2 hours of the day. The second phase of the day is between, there's like a gray window between 10:30 and 11. and this is all central. And then between 11 to power hour, 11 to 1, or 11 to 1 is like your second phase of the day, your lunchtime phase. A lot of the time it's like consolidation. A lot of the times it's where like your dip buys come in from, or your confirmations come in from, or your retest to go lower come from midday. And then your end of the day phase is the last 2 hours of the day. So I call it power hour, but it's the last 2 hours of the day. It's not just one. That's like your third phase of the day. So I like to split up the day into 3 because it makes it easier to understand why things bounce when they bounce. Or when something is going up a bunch and it like randomly stops out, it stalls out, and people are like, "Oh, it's because it's lunchtime." Okay, what the fuck do they actually mean by that? And that's what I mean by that. I actually have exact times for these phases of the day. I'm throwing up air quotes, like you can see that. Good answers though, guys. You said X. Okay, thank you. Puts a smile on my face saying correct answers, because that tells me that you know what the fuck you're talking about. Have you seen that Trump wants that right-sided parties wait, what? Trump wants right-sided parties should lead European countries, and if they don't get help, and NATO doesn't get help anymore from the US. I'm gonna be honest, no, I didn't, because I think paying attention to political shit will drown your mind. We're talking about changes from a country where our president changes every 4 to 8 years. So nothing's ever going to be long standing. Therefore, everything that comes out is just going to be short term. So does it ever really matter in the end? No. What matters, though? My portfolio or politicians? Pretty easy answer if you ask me. Well, 21% account gain today out of everything, but make it into more before end of day, hoping for a pullback on Tesla so I can swing more puts at a better price. Cheap-tastic. I like where your head's at. He said, I don't want it to go up because I'm bullish. I want it to go up so I can have a more affordable short position. That's a real bear right there. It looks like your candle is going to close as a bearish kicker, though, so you should see short-term downside from a daily POV. Why is that chart named 467? We should do like a swing stream that goes over some of that stuff, huh, Cheaptastic? I mean, I've done plenty of them, but I always like doing them because they're fun. I was just about to say, this is literally rejecting like a retracement area. I just couldn't prove it without drawing it. Basically, all I did was just draw 50% of moves down. So from the high to the first low before it bounced, from the high to the first low before it bounced, from the high to the first low before it bounced, and that's it, because that's the downtrend. Probably smart to note that this is probably a key area too. Dojis are pretty important. Swing equals low effort and pray there's no news. Damn right about that one. I haven't gotten fucked on news in a while, but man, when they pop up, oof. It's like the quickest reality check ever. How many likes we got on today's stream? Guys, get us to 30 likes. There's over 30 people in here. Get it to 30. 4 more. 4 more people real quick. Also, how many of you are at work? How many of you are at your house? How many of you are somewhere else? I guess there's a tertiary option there. Come on, 3 more likes. 3 more likes. I never get on my hands and knees for likes like this. Ever. You've never heard me do that before. Oh, okay, we got it. You guys are amazing. Fuck. My bad. I'm at work, home, at work, work. Nice. By the way, welcome, Rock's Music Studio. Good to see you. $35 likes. I know you guys literally like bitch slapped the like button right after I said that. I don't even know how much it helps or not. I just like seeing us at like 30. Like 20 to 30 is like my goal. It's not like a crazy. I think we can all agree that's not a crazy goal. I think it's a very like reasonable goal. But I'm really just happy we get to do the same shit every time in these streams. I mean, I'm not joking. Like, and you can back test me on this. Not trying to sound like some egotistical person, but if you go to the YouTube channel and you click on live, you could click a random fucking stream. Excuse my language. You can click a random stream, and in each of these streams, I am ranting about something that we actually use to help us make better decisions or higher probability trade setups or literally anything. The ones that have these thumbnails are swing streams with the blue dots. These are like swing streams I've done, whether it's with a scanner or whatever. And almost all of them, we end up taking swings in them. But if I don't find anything, I don't force it just because I'm doing a stream. So if that's something you're interested in, check that out. There's also playlists for literally everything. If you have access to BB Theory, it's because you're a real one and you've bought my course, or you're someone who's somewhat invested into my Discord or my YouTube channel to some extent. But this is probably the best playlist you could watch right now. It has all the deeper thinking behind everything we do and why is what, why is this, why is that. There's a meme video there too. Oh, and then this is the public version if you guys want to watch this, but it's just more of like a welcome playlist for someone who's new or someone that's been here before and you just need a refresher. This has a lot of the basic breakdowns of everything. Order of operations. This is really what we call the deeper thinking behind our trading. Because it's like when you do like a math equation, like PEMDAS. You know, if I gave you guys a math equation and you guys came back with like 5 different answers, you know, all 5 of you technically could be wrong. There is a world where that is possible. So it's kind of nice to like understand like the right way to look at things, the right order and to look at things. There is an actual order in which to look at things for both swing trading and day trading. It doesn't matter. It all applies. But yeah, so check that out if you guys haven't already. Today's though, I'll definitely be clipping and like making it its own video because today's first like 40 minutes was honestly gold, if I have to say so myself. So I hope some people check that out or at least review it. Because it's not like I'm trying to sit here and impress you and be like, man, I hope you guys fucking sub. Like, I really want to do this so you guys do it on your own too. Because imagine like someone goes in chat. Like today, Eric said it, Letter Buck said it. I'm sure many of you came to some of these conclusions on your own as well, like without mentioning it. Maybe you're busy. But people were able to call out all of the key levels today without me even mentioning them yet. I didn't even start my stream yet, and Eric and Letterbuck were already saying, guys, this level lines up with that. This lines up with that. This lines up with this. Guys, look at like there's a lot of good levels around here. Like you should be able to pick up on that on your own because I want you to be able to pick up on your own. I don't want a bunch of followers in here. I want leaders in here. I want people who see that on their own and point it out. I don't give a shit if 5 other people just pointed it out. Be the 6th. Who cares? It's not about who gets to it first. It's not about, oh, somebody already said it. Like, say it. Show that you know it. It's just basic teamwork. Hey guys, all these key levels line up between here and here and here. Let's look for signals around here or lower highs or higher lows from here. Like, it's basic shit. And not only does like it help other people, but it probably helps you the most. It's probably most beneficial to you to like go over it yourself. The best forms of memorization when I was growing up, because I was really, I'm still stupid, but I was really bad at school. And I used to think index cards would help. But I learned that like the easiest form of memorization is not through like repeating it or like, you know how like some people are like, I have to do it with my hands or I won't learn it myself. It's kind of like that. But the best form of memorization is teaching. So if you can like break something down to a further extent, as if you were like teaching it to a child, that'll help you also further understand it. So if you're able to like go over these things and almost act like you're teaching or like talking out loud to yourself, like it'll help you memorize some of these things better, and it'll become like muscle memory. And you'll be like, oh, lower highs are intact under current day open. I'm shorting that. You know, you'll know these things and the order in which to do them. More talking. At my house now, I made a career change and I'm now an official entrepreneur and self-employed. What a fucking G. Good shit, Letterbuck. I'm happy for you, man. Dude, that means we're gonna get to see more Letterbuck. It's actually a W for all of us. A lot of good videos. Thank you, man. I'm at work. Should I jump in spy? This isn't that kind of stream, man. I don't tell people when to get in things or not like that. I do call out. I do these kinds of things like on my own when I see fit, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, man, jump into shorts right here. Looks good. I'll tell you, though, lower highs are still intact. You are still bearish. Nothing has really changed on that front, so you're not stupid for jumping into shorts. It's just we are approaching the end of the first phase of the day, which is why you see me starting to chill out a little bit more. It has nothing to do with, oh, this chart shit, or I think you're wrong or anything. It has nothing to do with that. That's just not in my forte. But technically, it is still bearish. Sensei, what's up, Gary? But yeah, so I'm not like coming at you or anything. I don't mean anything by that, but it's just I gotta be comfortable too. And honestly, I hope you catch like a future trade with us. I just don't like to force it, and you'll soon learn. I pace out my trades. You don't need to have like 5 trades a day to be profitable. You don't need to be trading 10 times a week. Some people in here like to do that, and that's their preference. I'm just not like that. Does SPY usually calm down after a certain time? Is that why you were saying going into phase 2? Yes, that is particularly why. Most of the time it will. That doesn't mean every time it does. It's just most of the time. So if I get my piece in the first phase and I haven't even made it to the second phase of the day, it's just like a natural sign of like, hey, I should probably chill out. If you want to see the breakdown on that, though, I think I just type in phases. Yeah, here it is. From open to close, navigating the 3 phases of the day using probability. It's crazy that it only has 200 views. I think this like, and you know what's funny is I talked to one of my friends who uses like a lot of different strategies at once, Ace, and he told me a lot of this actually lines up with like the closing and opening times of like other markets around the globe. I came up with this because that's just what it felt like. Because sometimes, like you sleep in some of those days, or maybe one day you're sick, you don't go to work, you sleep in. A lot of the time, it's around like that 10:30 mark. You're like getting up and like kind of getting settled in, and you'll notice on like your SPY charts, it's kind of doing the same thing. It's weird. But yeah, if you want to check out the thinking behind that, check this out. It's like less than 7 minutes. Speak up, bro. Jesus. Damn, I roasted myself. Dude, I fucking love water. Shout out to all my water enjoyers. I don't think I would ever join like the military for like random wars. But if there was ever like a war over like a water supply, I think I would probably have to join up. I think that would be like my crazy thing. Like if they were like, "Yo, bro, the Ozarka factory's under attack. We need to draft random American." I'd be the front of the line. I would protect that Ozarka factory with my life. Ain't nobody touching my factory of water. My first goal is to make $20 a week trading using SPY put credit spreads, trying to learn as much as possible. If you want to learn that, I would literally tag this one man in my chat. His tag is at here. I'll show you. He was literally going over this with Joyful, or something similar to it. But are you in my Discord? You need to tag this guy. This guy. He's also on Twitter. I would tag this guy or follow him on Twitter, or DM him, tell him Bueller sent you, or tag him in my Discord. But he can show you some pretty cool methods to do that. And he's not going to sit there and be like trying to charge you and shit. Invite was expired. Yeah, I do that on purpose. I'll put a new one in the stream. We got a lot of bots. I'll be honest with you, man. I get like probably more bots than real people nowadays. So I just like limit the access to my chat nowadays. Because I'm not one of those people that really care about getting like a bajillion people in here or anything. I just invented that number. That one should work though. I just made it. If it still doesn't work, it's because you're banned, and I just need to know your username to go unban. This might be the first time, guys, that we see a lower high not remain intact, right? We see lower high here, see another one kind of line up right here, see another one here. But what do we see here? We're like actually seeing the beginning of a potential recovery finally. And guess where it's lining up at? Almost 10:30. Now, I'm not saying this is low a day. It's going to bounce. We're going to see fucking crazy highs after this. I'm just saying the slowdown does occur. What are you thinking? What's up, Waffle Guy 410? That's a very dope name. That's my short-term process right now. Since we're approaching about 10:30, which is like the second phase of the day, we'll probably see like a consolidation phase, which can lead into a buy the dip into the end of the day. Or if nothing happens and you do end up still remaining under good levels like 680, 440s, again, kind of tying in that larger time frame context. We know that if we remain under this level, it's just, you know, a good rejection. It's nothing super crazy. But if followed up with a break under 680, 440s, not just rejection of this, but follow up under this, that can lead into larger dips down to like 680. So we could see 680 tomorrow. We could see it end of week, middle of week. If we remain under 680, 440s, you can see that lines up with both bigger time frame info and smaller time frame info. No matter how I draw it, I get it. And these are just targets for the day when we were looking for the dip. So as you can see, levels are a little bit more spaced out. All-time high is right there, spitting distance. Kind of crazy to think about. Thanks, I got in the Discord. Awesome. Another Eric. Let's go, dude. W. Eric's in the chat. You can actually tag in that off-topic channel that I just waved at you in, Eric, and you can tag that username guy, and you can just ask him if you have questions. And he'll do all that free of charge, nothing crazy. But that kind of stuff's right up his alley, so I figured I'd throw you his way. I'm not going to try to act like some expert in something I don't know anything about. I know the basics of spreads and stuff, but I don't trade them or anything, so I don't have like the inner understanding like he would. What do we think of Netflix? That's the one that just split, right? Yeah. I was actually saying right after this happened, it'd be like, man, cool, this fell under 100, so people could buy the dip. I'm not surprised to see it dip after that. But people are going to be fucking drooling out of their mouths, dude, at this price. They're going to be like, what the fuck's a PE ratio? And they're just going to start buying it because it's at 96. How is Netflix at 96? It's going to bring in attractive buying. I can almost promise that. And the reason I can almost promise that is because I've personally witnessed this time and time again on Nvidia, on Apple, on Tesla, on all kinds of stocks. I mean, even AMD did it. You know, they've all done this. I think if it's a large enough company, popular enough name, it's very possible that after cutting prices like that, making it attractive, it brings in long-term attractive buying. The reason companies do that is to bring more cash on hand. So now they have more money to use, which makes sense for Netflix at the end of a year because not only was their stock price getting ridiculous, but two, They're probably needing money to like buy titles. They do that at almost the end of every year. And if you go on Netflix right now, there's like tons of new things, so they're probably needing the money. But it's also for other things. I'm sure they're probably going to be doing all kinds of things. I did see they've been adding like HBO shit too, so those don't come cheap. But yeah, that's actually really good for Netflix, though, is what I'm saying. Long term, this will probably bring in some amazing amount of buyers. They want to buy Disney as well. Yeah, they can keep smoking that pipe. Saying buy Disney, that's crazy. But yeah, Netflix, good, attractive option, but probably wait for some settling first. As you can see, it's just kind of on a hefty downside move. So probably wait for it to slow up a little bit, base out a little bit more, and then start to participate in the buying. Yeah, Warner Brothers makes sense. I could see them buying Warner Brothers. To be fair, though, I think people forget how big Warner Brothers is, though, because Warner Brothers has been split up like 2, 3 times now. So it's not like everything like it used to be. If you remember, they actually used to be packaged alongside with like shit like ESPN and stuff. That one's pretty cool though. I mean, good for Netflix, dude. I've been saying for fucking ever, dude. Like, I don't know why people hate on Netflix. I think everyone should be happy that there's like one big platform. Why does everybody want to pay for 16 different platforms for everything? That's actually like really stupid to me. And if you want to blame anybody for ads, blame fucking Amazon and blame Disney. They're the people who brought the ads business into this, not Netflix. Netflix just adopted it. So the Netflix hate's crazy. They weren't the first person to bring ads, and they're like the large one that everyone could definitely pay for and have plenty of shit to watch. The only other one I probably will argue with is like maybe HBO or Disney, because they're both also, I mean, just huge family names that have been around for fucking ever. I think we all know HBO, we all know Disney, but Netflix has also earned that right. It's not like a Hulu where it fell off and just only does sports now. It's like Netflix does a lot. I think Netflix is a crazy, crazy company to be long term in, like crazy good. I'll probably buy some after all this glazing I'm doing. Just need to wait for it to dip a little bit more, or just start to consolidate more. But I've always been a huge Netflix glazer. There's a hack to reduce or get rid of ads. What, on Netflix? I never get ads. I mean, I do pay for it though. I'll be honest though, like I think Netflix is like the one that I would never like unsubscribe from though. They were constantly adding new shit. There's always more movies, always more shows from everybody too. They'll pay HBO, they'll pay Disney, they'll pay anybody. Yeah, so I was watching Floor is Lava with my kids on my ad account and got ads. I watched on their kids account and no ads. I wonder if it's because of like it's like a dark pattern. Like you shouldn't be sharing ads in front of children. That'd be a crazy circumvent though if that's true. Oh my bad, I'll go back to Spy Guys. Getting that bounce at the 10:30 mark. Around the 10:30 mark. Not account profile. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have a kid, so I don't have a kid profile thing, but I have seen the option, but that would make sense though, wouldn't it? I don't think they're allowed to do that. Like share ads to children like that. I think they can only show them like legit like children ads, but I think even that's somewhat seen as a dark pattern. I'm also tired of the people who like try to politicize all these platforms. Like when people are like, bro, Democrats own Netflix and Disney, and there's a lot of Democrats that work at Tesla. It's like, my brother in Christ, not everything has to be about politics. Like, yes, some Hollywood films did get a little politicized in that era, but it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. Everything's fixed now. We're good. We can forgive and forget. Like every company has people who vote for different people. Like people who say that shit blows my mind. I don't support Netflix because they have Democrats. Huh? Brother, I don't care. I just want to watch Netflix because it's addicting. It's like, huh? You think I'm loading up The Walking Dead thinking about who I voted for? There are much higher legal standards to advertising to children. Good. I would fucking hope so. I see that as like a very dark pattern, advertising to children, even if it's not anything like bad. Like you're just mentioning toys, because then you're putting in the kids' ear, like, "Hey, buy this toy, buy this toy." It's just a very, shouldn't do that. Yeah, don't advertise to children. Very, very wrong. You watched the P. Diddy documentary on Netflix this weekend? How was it? I honestly didn't keep up with the P. Diddy stuff. I just figured he'd get away with it, and then isn't that what happened? He just got away with everything. He got a slap on the wrist or something. I don't know why people get so surprised when the outcome is different than they think it should be. Like, name the last like super famous like court case that didn't go that way. You can't. I never really trust the whole like celebrity court cases and stuff. Not counting Johnny Depp, that one was just pure meme. That was genuinely just pure meme. Do you do the stream every day? This week I'm just doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But yes, I am live every week. I wouldn't say every day though. It's good. Finally, we know 2 juniors are paid, and he got 50 months. 50 months? That's insane. Swim Club 7. Martha Stewart was found guilty for insider trading, but that was years ago. Yeah, I mean, insider trading will never, like, will never ever be justified. They'll never ever, like, combat that correctly. Because every politician inside trades. And they'll sit there and be like, well, that's not true. They have information that you have. It's just they get it earlier and then they act on it in the legal amount of time. It's like, yeah, I understand all the fucking bullshit intricacies of it. But you just can't sit there and tell me that, like, Republican and Democrat alike just for some reason went from being some idiot that got voted into being the politician to somehow turning into the greatest generational trader of their lifetime. Like, what? Every politician is just making millions on all of us just because they know things that we don't. That's some shit I want to see get combated soon. And the only reason it quieted down is because Nancy Pelosi got a slap on the wrist. And it wasn't even a slap on the wrist. It was just, hey, Nancy, we all know that you're doing it now. So they had her step down. It's like, oh, whoop-de-doo, she stepped down. Guess what? She's still insider trading. It never changed, just her amounts lowered. She's still making bank on NVIDIA. She's still making bank on Apple options. Insider trading is horrible. That's also another reason I just can't hate on one side. Like, one side isn't the problem. They're both the problem. It's not just red or blue doing it. Like they're literally both doing it because it's legal. Why is that legal? Shouldn't be legal at all. Insider trading is a horrible problem in the stock market. It's all like you could even go outside of politicians. Like to this day, there are people who still like call for the investigation of Warren Buffett. With the game, well, not the GameStop trade. Activision with Bill Gates, Microsoft, all that stuff. They claimed, oh, it was our younger pupils who made that deal. We didn't make that deal. It's like, how can you confidently like say that and actually be able to prove against that when Warren Buffett and Bill Gates are best friends? Like they could have made that deal through eye contact. Like these guys have known each other longer than all of us have been alive. Just saying, like it's pretty bad how bad insider trading can be. And I didn't even step outside of politicians or even just some famous person like Warren Buffett. Like there's probably some even crazier layers we could pull back on that kind of topic. But in my opinion, all that shit's just a waste of time. It's negative thinking. You're just wasting time thinking about something you have no control over. So you're best just focused on your strategy, your system, focusing on yourself. What things make you comfortable? What things are pointed out to you to help you make better trades? It's just better to focus on that shit. That's why I just like tell people in here, like, please don't talk about politics in here. Like, I don't care. I don't care who you voted for. Because in my eyes, we're all the same. We're all in the same shitty ass boat. Also, we're not really in a position to be complaining. I'm streaming on YouTube about the stock market. I don't think life's that bad. Like, we're able to sit here in a stream and talk to each other about the stock market. Something's going right. Not everything's going to be perfect. Best thing you could do is just focus on whatever you find important. Whatever it may be. And put yourself around people like that too. To be honest, you'd be stupid to not. Yeah. No, I'm not even saying like in a sense like I wouldn't do it. Like no, I probably would too. If it's legal, you can get away with it. Why would you not? So it's not really the politicians you got to blame. It's like the system. Like something needs to be changed for them to not be able to inside trade at that level. Because that's pretty bad. But enough of that. Be sure to drop a like on the stream if you guys haven't already. If you guys have any updates or anything you want to ask about, please feel free to. Today we took trades from the second lower high under 686.13, and then I talked about more shorts from here, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, man, I jumped in those too. No, I just called them out. So 2 pretty good opportunities in the stream today. In case anybody in here missed, we used XLK to heavily influence decisions today. That's why I was putting so much emphasis on going back and watching the first part of the stream today, because the information was just really juicy. And then it played out really well. So I think it's just a really good, clear example. Not every day is like that. I enjoyed the breakdown of the sectors and how XLK is weighted. I'm happy to hear that, man, because I really love this shit, the sector talk. And you could see, too, remember when I was saying earlier, Keith, when we were looking at this and we saw XLV was the lowest one? We could see there's actually another sector that actually ended up selling off more than them. So there's a lot of red sectors now, and tech got worse. So, like, it kind of makes sense why we fell more on SPY now, when you look back at it like that. In the moment, though, it's hard to find that. Like, that's why I like to go over it like that. And that's why I'm saying today was an easy example, because you're going to find an example, like, maybe even this week, where it's not the clearest example. And then you throw in like cyclical stuff, like what are the cycles of this stuff? Like a lot of people think tech is a leading sector because it weighs so much, and it is. but it isn't always the first indication that the market's about to keep going up. A lot of the time, your financials are a really good indication on your larger time frames. If your financials continue up, it means we're in a healthier, more bullish market, meaning that tech or discretionary, your XOK or XOY, has the opportunity of going up higher. It's more of like an initiator. And then on the end of that, when your tech and your discretionary is flying and we're in a bullish market on those, what are our staple stocks doing? Those probably have a red reaction at first because you're seeing a rotation of money out of those safer stocks into your more aggressive stocks, and vice versa. Let's say we hit an abrupt end, all-time high hit, and everything gapped down 10% on tech and discretionary. You probably do have an initial bullish reaction more times than not every time. Like I said, nothing's 100%. More times than not because of that flight to safety from those aggressive sectors into those less aggressive sectors, like staples or energy or industrials or base materials or real estate even. So it's kind of cool to know, not just outside of like what moves SPY, but also like what is the cycles behind everything. There is a cycle. There is money rotation. Do we think it's time to buy Tesla? Nah, I don't know, not yet. Speaking of Tesla, I heard one of those cars outside of my house the other day, and that shit was loud, bro. Do all Teslas make that annoying ringing sound? Bro, that thing was loud. They had their window pulled down, and I like kind of talked under my breath. I was like, damn, that's loud as shit. They were like backing up, and I hear this like loud humming. Dude, it was loud. It sounds horrible. I heard it and I was like, do all Teslas sound like this? Like, no way. I think this guy just had a fucked up Tesla. One second. Right back. Lily, come here. Come here. Go, 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 go. Oh. How's the doggo doing? She's doing good. My mom's been visiting, so she loves my mom. Man, what a good ass stream today, man. You know, sometimes I cover, I mean, literally every day I cover stuff, but like, it's not that it always pans out. Like if I'm covering like gap ups, you know, or like gap fibs, but we didn't even have a gap that day, you know, it's kind of pointless. But it was kind of fun to go over something that actually ended up doing the exact same thing we covered from the plan that same day, instead of it just like being like a lesson type thing. It was more of like a live lesson that's actually panning out in the exact moment kind of thing. So it's kind of cool. I definitely fuck with that. Man, you know something I've like paid attention to when I talk so much on stream, like I'm always having to breathe in between. Man, I don't know how people do that shit in person, like all those like public speakers. They'll like sit up there and talk for like hours on end. But I swear if you actually pay attention, you like never see them breathe. It's like, how are you doing this? I updated the outside bar indicator and included screenshots in the Discord. Nice. Let me see. Oh, that's kind of cool. It also shows like different time frames. Damn, that's kind of OP. You could be like, bet, I love 30-minute outside bars. I love switching from 30 to the 5. And then you just wait for it to click that. That's actually so sick. I might have to move to like Trading View down the road. Y'all have so many like cooler things than we have. I mean, y'all kind of have for the longest time, but damn, that is sick, dude. That is sick. Do I need to pin that? Can I even pin that? Oh, I can. There you go. Oh. I was thinking the same. It might be time to leave Weeble and go to Trading View. I think I just like how like open everything is, like open source. Like I know so many people. I mean, I've messed with it for months at a time as well. Leland's messed with it a bunch, but like there's so many things you can do. I could like set up a bot. Even my dumbass could do this. I could set up a bot that like triggers a level, and but it has to use Trading View's data to do it. You know, like it does that. You can't do half that shit with Thinkorswim, and if you do, it's like it'll take you a lot longer to set it up because it's more difficult to understand or look at. Right? Whereas Trading View, it's like a lot of it's open source. They want you to like do that shit, and they do charge for a lot of this stuff. But I mean, let's be honest. anything good in life doesn't, isn't free. So, and yeah, that too, you could trade pretty much any brokerage on it too. So that's pretty cool. That's what I like though. It's probably the most versatile. It has like the most stuff. It's complex, but not like complex in a way where you're like, that is too much to understand. I know people who load up Thinkorswim and think that it's too much to understand. I think Thinkorswim's like one of the basic ones. Not like a Robinhood. Like Robinhood's probably the most like basic it can get because it's just like straight to the point. It has aesthetically pleasing layout and HUD, UI, and all that. Like it just looks good, you know. We can all agree that's probably why Robinhood's the big boy, even though it's like the most simple looking one. But it's because it's so simple that it's so popular. It's just straight to the point. There's no gimmick bullshit. I couldn't create indicators because I couldn't code, but using AI has now made it possible. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I just kind of OP using AI. I have to use AI whenever, I mean, I haven't done it in a while, but I had to use AI like the early generations of AI for switching code from TradingView to Thinkorswim, or having it switch the other way around, which that one isn't really hard because they don't use the same coding or same type of coding or whatever the fuck you call it. I'm not smart. JSON. I don't know what I'm going to name that part of the stream from today. Workshop 15. New workshop. Click this video, thumbs it up. That should be the title. Real-time super success. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or you want to go over anything, just let me know. This is the part of the stream where I just start chilling, start reading shit. We go over stuff whenever. I guess I could like promote my own channel. If you guys haven't already, make sure to sub to the channel. There's normally a join button somewhere. I can't see it, of course, because I am the channel. But yeah, click the join button if you haven't. And yeah, bunch of cool shit on here. Man, I can't wait to cut the part of the stream from today and actually like make it a video. That was actually so good. Can I check NVIDIA? Yes, I can. Only for you, SK. If anybody else would ask that, I would have told them to, go away. I actually used NVIDIA a lot today to help me with direction on SPY. You're probably wondering for bigger time frames, though, I bet. So let's start over. Lately, I've been kind of cheating. I've just been doing a lot of drawdown fibs. It's not really cheating. It's just what I call cheating. Make it easier for myself. Oh my god, I got that bug right now. Yep. Bro, that hasn't fixed from before Schwab owned them till after Schwab owned them. All right, so I'm going from high to the low before a bounce. So right there, because they technically bounced and went up, even though they're just red candles. A little hard to look at. High to low from bounce. High to low from bounce. high to low from bounce. Damn, that's actually next to one. And then we need to get something underneath, which I think I was using this gap up before, but let's see if I want to still use that. Oh, I mean, I might as well. Shoot. Look how accurate that is. I bet this low is pretty helpful too, but I feel like I would draw this in the 5 minute. I'd go to the 5 minute, I'd find the low demand of whatever that candle is. But outside of that, though, because I was watching NVIDIA towards the end of last week, I think, because I'm just interested. Whenever I see a stock that's like this important to the stock market, I pay attention to where's its all-time high, where did it dip to, and then I really just like to look at it like that. Like how much did it dip away from its all-time high, and then compare it to its like peers. So like in NVIDIA, you could look at semiconductors, or you could just look at tech stocks. So like Apple, Microsoft, Avgo. You can see Apple's still really not that far from their all-time high. Microsoft is very similar to NVIDIA. It's got a great distance from their all-time high, but probably not as much as NVIDIA, as you can see. NVIDIA is like one leg away, while Microsoft's like multiple legs away. Avgo, you can see they're also kind of similar to Apple. So out of their top 4 tech weights, we can already say that this is like our 3rd cheapest tech stock, even though it's technically the heaviest tech stock. So you could almost say tech stocks like have a pretty good risk reward buy from here, but you might not just see it happen out the gate where it happens like one move instantly. Let's go, It might actually have, because remember, we have news this week on Wednesday. So this could be one of those weeks where we get a slight move up, slight move down, kind of bullshitting in between here. But this gives us consolidation, whereas maybe next week, you might have information away from this, which it kind of sucks that next week is more closer to the end of the year now. Because the end, the last like week or two, do have a lot lower volume or less movement. I can't remember which one. I'm pretty sure it's less volume. Hey, Dada. What's up, React? Good to see you, boss. Hope you're doing good, man. We killed it in today's stream, bro. I was on the 1 minute today, but we used a lot of context today. How market sectors move SPY. I would, but I think I just named a video that and I fucked myself. How tech... Oh, wait, never mind. I didn't. How tech charts help us trade. See, I literally just did a video on this because it's so important. So here's XLK. You can see like they gapped down and then had a huge hammer and then just pumped. Consolidated. Had that liquidity grab thing where they kind of dip down where it looks like they're going to pull back. And then they have another candle that spikes back and retakes it instantly. So it's like a big spike in movement. And then you're about to get more movement up because of it. And then from there, of the gap down, that's the 50%. A lot of the time we talk about large gap downs. A lot of the time, if they do go back up above their current day open, I don't know about the percentage of the time. We just say it's very high in here. It goes up to at least the 50%. So we know a lot of the time it's high probability if we go above today's open on a gap down that we're at least going to this level. So knowing that, we can use that on Triple Q. We can use that on SPY, like in this video. And you can see whenever SPY is like kind of going back up on that first move, coming back down on the second, during that consolidation on tech. And then on the gap down from here to here, that's this level, the 50%. So we're kind of betting on it to go up to at least this, right? Anything else is just extra. So if like nothing happens at the CDO, the current day open, and look, this is us covering Eli Lilly. I didn't know I did this in the same stream. Oh, this is the day I was taking profits. Yeah, that was me taking profits early. That's crazy looking back at that like that. Me glancing at it all damn day. Where'd that go? Let's get a side-by-side on that. Damn, that's tiny. Finally slept in, had a crazy weekend. Damn, bro. Hey, well, I hope it was a good one, a good crazy. I hope it was that good shit, you know? You stream every day or have a set schedule? I mainly just stream like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, see, I cover sectors in this video too. See, I just do this shit every day. It's really nothing new. That's why I try to tell people like what I'm covering isn't that special. It's pretty open information. I think just the way that we put it together is special. Like the way we talk about things, like using context, doing things in a certain order, and with reasoning, like we have like a thinking behind everything. When you're playing baseball, let's just use a really stupid example here. I'm really gripping at straws here. Um, let's say the ball gets hit into outfield. Like that you have room to run to second because you hit it so far. It's an inconvenience for them to get it and have to also throw it. Like it's not like you hit it and somebody caught it instantly. Like you hit it in between people in the outfield. They're gonna have to run over to it, get it, throw it. You have time, as a professional player, not you and me, to get to second because you just did really good damage, or maybe helping someone from third get to home. Because that's like something that makes sense. It's logical, right? It's the same thing with this. Like if you're under the current day open and you're under the gap up 50% and you're under the previous day control point, guess what? You're more bearish probability wise than you are bullish. That's just facts. So we know that. That's like our baseline context, right? Then we see something else beyond that. We see a lower high, like we talked about today very heavily, lower highs remaining intact all damn day. Or a bearish candlestick rejecting one of those levels while also remaining under the rest, or just anything like else that pops up after that, right? Now you have a baseline confirmation of being potentially bearish, and you have like an extra kind of sprinkled on, on cherry on top of saying, hey, I'm even more bearish than I was from that baseline. Like you're adding something to it, but you're not making anything up, right? And then over time, as you do this more, you'll see like you can really catch some moves before they really begin to happen, just based off of just basic context. It's crazy how quickly you can catch a trend, and then anything else is just like added bias on it. And then also having the ability to not hold forever, not be greedy, scaling out when you know you should. Like if you hit previous day low and you're shorting from today's open, it's kind of like it's kind of obvious. Like it's not crazy that this is the candlestick that we got. Holy shit! Can I zoom in? It's not crazy that this is the candlestick we got at today's or previous day low. The first one that hit it. It's not crazy that this is the first one we got. It makes sense that we would go back up and retake it like that, even if we were just going to break it later. But the initial reaction getting to it makes sense that we would do that. Just speaking from a logical point of view. I'm not making anything up. I'm just going over what the candle tells us. But yeah. Yo, good shit, React. I'm seeing your post now in the chat. Oh, that's right. You said triple Q. I'm yelling timber. I'm yelling timber. Bro, good shit. 1025 entry. Is that CST? Oh, it has to be. Were you on the 1 or the 5? Oh, EST. Yeah, this is why I just look at y'all's charts. What is that fib drawn from? You have like a 50 and then a golden pocket fib there. What is that? Is that from high to low of that recent dip down? It looks like it. You did low of day to high of day? Okay, okay. Good shit. Yeah, here, I'll just show you the levels that I have for SPY, but on triple Q. Therefore, you see exactly what I had, but on your chart that you traded. Let's just see how close we were. So there's the 50% of the gap up. Here's the 50% of the previous day. Jesus Christ, it was the same level. And then here's current day open. That's it. So definitely looking for direction from this area. If we're above it, we're looking for better confirmations to move higher. If we're below it, looking for confirmations to possibly move lower. I was on the 1 minute today, so I'll just go to the 1 minute. What I liked on SPY is how quickly it broke under the current day open, then gave like a retest under it. And I see here, when it came back up and had that high, like for my retracement going down, if you go from high to low, kind of similar to how you did, it actually did remain under it. So this is seen as like a midterm retest. Could use this as like lower high potential area. That's disgustingly clean. Yeah, that's pretty clean. But this is basically the concept for SPY, but on triple Q. Your stop was above that yellow. Yeah. I definitely would have had like current day open as like a final barrier of like, okay, if this ever breaks, I'm fucked. But it's kind of nice that we have like that 5 minute breakdown where, I mean, you could even have drawn it like this and probably got a similar piece of information too on the 5. I'm sure you could see it on the 10, 15. But it's just so easy to see. Like, here, let me delete it all again. We'll just look at just retracement fibs, right? So here's like the gap up fib of moving from up, right? Then you have your open, you have your previous day control point, basically at the same level down there. But of your move up, you see, it goes up, then it comes back down, right? There's no real reason to be bearish. There's no real reason to be drawing this. But if you did, you could see that it remains under the 50% on the next candle. So it kind of tells you like, okay, something's kind of happening here. And then you have another one here. Now this one's very minuscule because it's like the very next candle that has a green reaction. But look what it does. Remains under it. Right? Kind of drops a little bit more. Is this the low? Yeah, this is the low. Then it bounces. So you're kind of using confirmation of that one and that one now. Remains under it. And this is just to kind of accurately track, are these all lower highs or not? Because if there's any moment where it gets above that level or gets above that level, like as a combination there, like getting above this, not just saying, oh, it broke the purple line I had drawn. Like, it's not always going to be perfect like that. Sometimes you need to use your head. Like, mathematically, it tells us that this is where the lower high is actually created between 627.60 and 627.20. So it's actually a 40% or 40 cent lower high right here. Little area. And you can do that going up. You can do that going down to kind of track higher lows or lower highs. So since we think we're in a lower high after we're breaking down into the open, which you probably wouldn't have started doing that till over here. But yeah, it's just kind of cool to see it that way. You'll see me do it on the daily time frame a lot and the weekly time frame a lot. Recently, my levels look a lot like this right now. So now I know, like, oh, okay, we need to get above this, or it's a lower high. So if there's a bearish candlestick forming here, like right now, we know, okay, the shit, this is probably going to pull back to what though, right? And there's a rule set to this, right? There's definitely a chance that it does just dump. I'm not saying that it can't, but let's speak from a logical point of view. Like, what would like a natural market do, right? There's a hammer right here. So worst case is it can go as far as this before it gets to like, oh shit zone. right? I see it as like going down to whatever the last hammer is or whatever the recent support is, like whatever it is, right? And it happens to be like right here. A lot of the time it lines up with like the 9 EMA or 8 EMA. Sometimes your 21's a little bit further, like down here probably. So I bet it even lines up with like the EMA strat as well. But from what I'm seeing, we can dip as far as this before it's like, oh shit, you know? If we get any kind of confirmation under 61950s though, that's when it's like, okay, we can make it down to 611, 612s. Excuse me. But that's of course where like I like hammers a lot because this is the perfect level to go down, break it, and retake it. Like with the hammer, that's the perfect. Like us getting a lower open, dip, and then retake to have like a hammer close over. That would be like the most ideal Tuesday before a FOMC Wednesday. If we were to close exactly like this, that's like high probability what that's telling us. That we're going to go down, have a lower open probably. We probably are going to break this level and go down and touch something. We're going to pull up before the end of the day, and we're probably going to close at or above this level. And then that leaves Wednesday to be like a true 50-50 day. Because if we have a higher open or a flat open going into the FOMC news, it'll be really important to see, does this in fact go and test not just these highs, but go to test the all-time highs that are just shortly above this? Or are we going to break this and actually make that test down to that lower area? So we're kind of at a big deciding area right now. That's why I said like this week could be huge for swings because I think swings are going to be the way to go. Like tonight might be an easy short swing night. Tomorrow might be an easy gap up night. Actually, probably going to be more 50-50, like I said. And then after the news happens, we'll have a more clear indication of what's most likely happening because we know control happens from here short term. These are just like barriers, if anything. But we'll have information on direction from this level, like on Triple Q on the daily. That's like the deeper thinking behind it all, not just saying we're bullish above this level. That's why. That's my whole explanation. But the exact same thing I just covered here can be applied on SPY. You'll have different numbers, of course, but it's the exact same analysis. That's what this chart is. See, we're already almost near. What's the last hammer? Last hammer's right here. So on Triple Q, that number is 619.54. On SPY, it's 681.34. It's the exact same thing. It's just a different number. Same analysis. It'd also be funny if we didn't get a lower open, like if we gapped up and then rejected this level, and then it was just a fat-ass red day tomorrow. So there's like two scenarios in front of us tomorrow. So it really depends on the open. That's why I put so much emphasis on the open every day. You'll see every time you do candlestick pattern analysis, day to day to day, a lot of the time you almost are relying on that next day's open. Is it higher? Is it lower? What key level is it rejecting? What key target is it going down to test? Excuse me. Sorry, my throat's fucked. When do you redraw fibs? Well, I mean, like right now we don't need to because we're kind of using like, here, I'll just try to short term explain it. So we have like one leg down into like a lower high, into a leg down, into a lower high, into a leg down. It just keeps looking like that. So right now we're kind of dealing with this part. We're dealing with the move up, and they're just kind of hitting every high. So it's kind of hard to like go over it. So right now we're looking to see, can we go down and hold these highs? Or like, so we're looking at a potential short-term dip like this, or we're looking at holding that midterm spot. So let me remove that line. That's not what I meant to do. We're either looking at doing this and just bouncing and making new all-time highs. So we're kind of in between either holding this shoulder or making a lower leg, which will be in the same exact scenario as we are right now. Are we holding? And it happens to pop up right when we have news on Wednesday this week. So it's kind of lining up that there's a big, decision-making move on the market, candlestick-wise, also lining up with news on Wednesday. So just highlighting the importance of that. That was a lot of talking, dude. So right now, we don't have to worry about, to answer your question, we don't have to worry about redrawing fibs right now. Now, if this makes like a leg down, good rejection here, we get more information on like a new side of the trend, then we could totally redraw that all we want. I could just move it over to the right. I just shift it over. The levels would be pretty similar though a lot of the time. Whenever you're in the same range, a lot of your like retracement fibs end up being like pretty similar. So even when you do adjust them, it's not like they end up adjusting that much. Whenever you're holding the same range. Now, if we break out, of course, then yeah, we'll be dealing with a different monster at that point. Or if we make new lows, you know, we'll be having to draw lower. We'll have to adjust lower. But it's just shifting, basically. What is the song I'm listening to right now? What kind of music do you guys listen to when you guys are just like chilling or charting or looking at something at work or whatever? What kind of like casual music do you put on when you are truly just chilling, or your mind is taking, or you're taking your mind off of everything? Your mind is taking. The hell was I about to say? Polyphia or anything instrumental? Oh yeah, some instrumentals go hard. That's actually a bass take. Older rock? Ooh. Name one like group of people that you really like, or someone that you like from older rock. Like, are you an American type older rock or a European type older rock? I think you'd be impressed with how much older rock I've listened to, actually. To be fair, though, I was in a truck with an older guy from like, like he's old. He was old. He's already passed away, but I was in a plumbing truck with him for like years, and that's all he wouldn't listen to anything else in the truck. If I ever tried to turn anything else on, it was no. I'm trying to think of his favorite band now, though. Oh my god, you said it actually. It wasn't on this list because I was trying to remember the name, but Leonard Skinner was his favorite band. Rio Speedwagon, Eagles. Okay, okay. These are all good. These are all good. I was trying to find a couple of the names because I didn't remember them all that well. Their music, like as soon as I hear it, I'll be like, "Oh my god, that song's fucking a banger." I would know it, but bad with the names. I've been to Elvis's house before too. Pretty crazy. Oh, that is pretty good music. That is some music you could just turn on and like just your brain will just turn off. Rolling Stones. Honestly, any of it. I was looking at this list of names and I was like, man, all these names kind of hit. Guns and Roses all the way to the Beatles and Elvis Presley. Like there's so much shit. The rock genre is full of heat. I think I have an older rock playlist. I'm trying to find it. Oh yeah, Tom Petty. That's who I listen to a shit ton. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. That's what I was trying to find. I'm pretty sure there was like a crazy ass story too, where like they were all about to get in trouble for having like all these like drugs on the bus or something, and he had his lawyer with him or someone with him, and they were like, "Nah, just have everyone split it up." So whenever they got in trouble, they all got like smaller fines compared to if one person took the heat for all of it. But it was only because they were on a tour bus. If you're on a plane, apparently, everything is put on one person. The person who's like in charge. Like, so if you're like the guy, you know, you're fucked. It's a pretty crazy thing to hear. There's actually a bunch of like rock stars, rappers, and people who've all like basically overdosed, like traveling on plane because they knew they were going to get in trouble for it. It's happened to a ton of people. Whereas if you get caught on like a tour bus, you can actually like do things to get out of the fine or not in as much trouble. Kind of circumvented a little bit. I don't know if that's still true or not, but I remember that was true at one point. I'm sure my translation of that was amazing as well. I'll remember that next time I fly private. Fly with someone who was diplomatic immunity, assuming that it's an actual thing. Yeah. No, I know like they do it to like target like people who are moving like masses amounts. Like if you're moving like pounds of stuff, like that's when they try to get people in trouble on that. I mean, it makes sense though. If you can do that, you know, what else can they ship across the skies so easily? Not to say they catch everything, but it's just like they should have a hard stance on it. I feel like that's a pretty good hill to defend. It's not about what drugs they're shipping, it's about the fact they could do it. Damn, that triple Q chart was actually kind of nice looking at that. Oh my god, I thought I was about to post that in the wrong channel. It'd be a shame if I posted triple Q in the non-triple Q channel. Man, I'd play this music with y'all, but it's all copyrighted. I'm playing Mary Jane's Last Dance, and the top comment, someone said, I passed away 4 years ago, and they played this at my funeral. Really thankful. What the hell? That has to be a Family Guy joke. The world took a hit with Tom Petty's passing. Rest in peace, Mr. Petty. This guy said, just heard this for the first time and realized that the Red Hot Chili Peppers ripped this off for the song Danny California. Holy shit, I never knew. I guess we could play some non-copyright music if y'all want. It's probably just going to be super boring, though. Anything changing on Spy? Probably not. We're in the lunchtime phase. You either hold the trend that you were already in or you fucking consolidate forever. So it's either not surprising or you're bored. But either way, I guess it's nice to see, though, the targets hit. I always tell people this, though, like when I set out as like a target, like when I'm saying like on these levels, like if we're looking away from this area as a target, like I'm saying this is like a first main target. And if anybody asks me like at this moment in the day, like, do I think we could make it down to 682.20s? I'm like, man, I'm not even thinking about that right now. I'm thinking about this. You know, you think about that later if you get good price action under this. So if it's like aggressive, you could take it as a measure. It's like, okay, maybe it does have a chance to get down to this. If it's more a little bit like slower pace and it kind of takes like, you know, a move here, then it consolidates for a while and doesn't happen for like 2 hours later, you know, then maybe you could say later on in the day. But in that moment, that's you're just waiting. You know, you're like, okay, yeah, I guess it could, but I feel like it's the tone in which it breaks it that gives you that probability of like, yeah, I can make it down to that further target. Because I mean, it was kind of aggressively bearish as it rebroke it again. Just a little bit of a 3-bar play. Time to head out. It's my son's 21st birthday. Dude, it's everybody's birthday today. What's going on? Happy birthday to your son, man. Heading out to lunch? Hell yeah. Drinks on him. Have a good time, man. And thank you for being in the stream. Thanks for chilling and listening to all the rants. Dude, it's already 11:30. That is crazy. It did not feel like 11:30. Even though I've been like actively talking about the time, it just doesn't feel like 3 hours passed. Maybe I'm tripping though. Maybe it's just because we had a nice downtrend day. And remember, that's intraday. I don't want people to hear that and be like, oh my god, they're going to short this to zero. No, just intraday wise, it was definitely bearish from the open so far. Of course, we have like the craziest afternoon that could change things, but just talking about it in the moment. Got to make that clear. You know, you don't want to piss anybody off. Possible morning star forming there in the 5-minute. Oh yeah, good eye. It does have that candle there. Talk about how dojis and hammers, or a lot of the time, are at the top and bottoms of your trends. Not just like within like the lower highs or higher lows of a trend, but like literally at the top and bottom of them. Sometimes you'll literally just notice a lot of hammers or doji type candles, which makes sense if you actually understand like what those candles are. The characteristic makes sense that would be there. Candle that's potentially exhausted or potentially reversing is what those candles indicate. So it would make sense that those would be at the tops and bottoms of trends. Good eye though. When I look at candlestick patterns on the smaller time frames too, Alst, and honestly anybody listening, I like to definitely see like a combination of patterns. Whereas on the daily, you don't need that as much, just because it's like I feel like there's stronger signals because you have it's over a larger period of time, so it's stronger information. Whereas what we're looking at here is like smaller amount of information, definitely not going to be as strong as that. So we probably need more than just like one candlestick pattern or something like that. But I always just think about that because it feels like it makes sense. But good eye though. Did get a green close even though it has a wick on top. Man, tracking the lower highs made it kind of easy today too. I was just looking at some of the posts I put in the Discord too. It's like, man, that really was like just stupidly clean. Man, my dog popped me in the nose really hard the other night. I was like going to pick her up and she like popped her head back and it fucking smacked me right in the nose. Super hard. I had like a weird feeling in my head for like 2 seconds and then it passed. And then I was like, damn, my nose just kind of hurts. Damn, dog's kind of strong. Of course, she's just looking up at me like I was trying to play with her. That shit hurt though. Walmart's got the same exact confirmation that we literally use for Coca-Cola and Eli Lilly for downside. So that could be a good downside short-term setup. I don't know if I like to short Walmart though. I really only like to short it when like everything else is pumping except like staple like stocks. Therefore, you feel like you actually have like the confirmation for it to go down. I think a lot of people are going to short this a little too early, but it might be okay. But people got to realize like we're literally off the end of a pump hitting highs. So like a lot of these charts are literally just red candles because of just natural reaction. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like, oh shit, they have to go down. Red candle appeared. No, I mean, they just hit all-time highs. A lot of them are hitting just under all-time highs. Fig. Ooh, I always forget about this one. This is like the next Adobe. Figma. Lamb Weston's doing good. Damn, PayPal. What happened to you? ONDS is kind of kicking ass. Oh my god, Target. We need to be looking at Target longs. What are we doing? Oh, my bad. I didn't see your message, man. Just stumbled upon your video trying to learn how to trade options. Do you have a video that explains why you set those markers at 684.47 and 682.23 on SPY? $684.47. Was I on this chart or was I on this one? I was probably on this one. And 682.23. Oh, okay. Well, those two levels specifically are just from the daily time frame. I'm pretty sure that's the first two retracements. Here, I'll go to a blank chart so you can see. I was showing people the key levels. So basically, this one's just a retracement down level. So from the high to where it dipped down before bouncing, even just short term. It's a little hard to see on this one because it's red candles, so it's going to freak some people out, but it is a bounce. So you go from high to the low of the move right here before it bounced short term, and then it came back down again. So that's where I get 684.47. And then the same exact thing. I go from this high right here, because this is the highest that it went after the bounce. And then when it went down again, it came down to here. And then this, you could keep doing the same thing. So that's where all those white levels come from. And then the other short-term levels I was using, I'll just delete it and show you clearly again. If you go from the close of yesterday to the open of today with a gap fib, you get 686.13, which is just the halfway point of this gap up, very small. The other level that we used was the today's open, very important short-term level for direction. And then the other one was the high of yesterday to the low. You end up with 686.49. So we're kind of using this big like area for direction to either higher probability decision making can be made if we're above this for buyers and vice versa for sellers if we're underneath. And then we use all those levels I just showed you to kind of back up like extra targets and stuff, which actually I almost fucked up. Actually, we don't have to draw that one. I'll just show you this. We'll just do the same thing again. And then I think that other level you were asking about is the hammer. Oh no, that's 681.34. That's not what you asked about. Yeah, in short. And then you could always draw more targets. Like if you're like, oh, well, I don't want to short from here to here. You know, well, don't just make up a level. You know, there's a clear low to high of that red candle there. But that's if you want to like get all tedious with it and shit. Sometimes I just like keep it as simple as I can so people aren't like, oh shit, are we bearish or not? Like it's pretty obvious that we're bearish from at least the beginning of today. And then you want to go down to like your 1 or your 2 minute and kind of just pick away. Like, are we still holding lower highs? Do I still have bearish candlesticks indicating that we are underneath and stuff? You know, just to kind of keep yourself in a good mindset about how you should still see us going down or not. And then honestly, where the fuck did I get 682.23 from? I just drew this like 6 times on stream. That was a good question. It looks like a halfway point of that green day. I honestly can't tell. Where did I get that from? I don't know, but I'm keeping it. I put it there for a reason. I don't. Forgot my headset will turn off. Hold up. My headset will turn off if there's not audio playing. One second. Hello, BB fam. Stop by to click the like. Yo, I love you, Mikey. Thank you, dog. You're a real one. I hope you're having a good day, man. Yeah, I gotta cut the beginning of today's stream and repost it. The Netflix swing paid very well. Where did you swing from? Was this overnight from yesterday or from a few days back? I can also just go look in the chat, I guess. Damn, good shit, Alexis. He was talking about Disney and he got some profits on it. Last week. Yeah, I figured it. I figured it wasn't from this. Good shit. Were you just playing the fact that it got that split, so it's like people are probably just gonna wait for it to come down? Logically, the trade makes sense. Good lower highs too, though. Good shit. Good shit, Mikey. And thank you guys for everyone who's posting the reviews. I actually need to go look at Letterboxd. Today I took one SPX put on the break of previous day close. I'm not gonna lie, I love when you guys post reviews because I like to go redo them on my own chart. So he said previous day close. I'm gonna mark that. I was watching the sectors, all were dipping except for XLK. That's my boy. On another monitor, I watch SPX Triple Q SPY charts. Smart. Notice Triple Q hit previous day high and rejected. That is true. That did happen. And was moving back under the 0.5 gap fib from 1103 to 1104. Made me bearish and wanted to hold for previous day low on SPX. Triple Q then fell under and rejected previous day control point. And that is what made me hold past previous. Dude, he's like literally reading out the context. Like all that ranting I did today, he just did all that in this little sentence right here. He explained what made him more bearish, even after everything going up on tech. And then he explained what broke, what fell under, what rejected, and that's what made him more bearish. He even pointed out his target. He said SPX flush right through previous day low, and I knew its next target down would be the weekly 0.5 at 68.48. I sold just before my targets as the market began to bounce up. Very smart. Honestly, super clean breakdown, and I love how he broke down what made him bearish, because he could have shorted at any point in the day, but he waited until a good level was breaking, and then he also had another trigger outside of this chart, like his sectors, telling him, oh, okay, yes, things could slow down more. And he ended up getting, like, the dip. That was very nice. Very kick-ass trade, bro. On SPX, that's nice that you held through just a couple candles. Very, very nice. I love looking at these. I mean, he bitch slapped it, man. There's not really much to cover else on that. Bro gave the context and everything. What broke, why it made him more bearish, what else is there. God, that was so nice. I chart BB level every day. Legend. 29 months is crazy, by the way. Let's go post it on Twitter for the haters, man. What a fucking code of a tweet. Hey, Mikey. Yo, good shit, Mike. Got some service chilling for now. Appreciate you. Dude, what's up, Alexis? I was just typing up your gains. Oh my god, dude. Good shit. Come on, Bull, show some hands. Yeah, honestly, ever since who said this? Who said potential evening star? That was Alst? Somebody said it earlier. Just wait, hold up. I missed a message. Just blew my account in a long position on NQ and ES today. Forgot to set stop loss. Damn, bro. I am very sorry to hear about that. I'm sorry for reading your message so damn late. If you're even still here. That is rough. Wait, Mikey, Bull's going 20 and above very soon? On what? On Bull the ticker? On what? What are y'all talking about? Did I miss something? Don't listen to me? What the hell? I want to know. I need to get Mikey on one of my swings soon, man. Mikey would have taken Eli Lilly with me. Mikey would have held Eli Lilly longer than me. Oh, on actually Bull? Okay, yeah. I mean, here, I'll hide my thumbnail so you can see the top of my screen. Is it that one? Yeah. Look, one of the two tickers I have up there is LW and Bull. I always got respect for Bull. Bro, I even like confirm my own thoughts with someone that I think is like super smart on Twitter. The one guy I promote on there, Chart Norris. Do you guys remember when Bull fell? I said the reason that it most likely fell was because of how exposed it was, right? When we were first talking about Weeble, that was around like here, right? We were talking about this when it like made sense to talk about it. When everyone started randomly coming up and talking about this, that's when too many eyes were on it. And it was like, well, yeah, now it can't go up. That's like the same conversation I have with you guys when it's like you can't be on things that are like too obviously bullish, too obviously bearish. It just kind of sucked that we were in it, and now we're having to just kind of like wait it out. I mean, it's not like we're down that bad, but like that's what that guy ended up saying too. He was like, yeah, this is kind of crazy how like everybody started posting it. Now it went down. It's like, yeah, that's how social media works. Not saying that's the only reason it went down, but that was definitely a big driving force in making like people get flushed out. So now that it's made its break and possible retake, like I'm actually kind of confident in this as like a long-term pick. I don't know if I'd be looking at this and checking it every day. And I would probably check this on like a weekly time frame. I don't know if I'd be staring at the daily too much. Am I still on Lily? No. I was just saying if you had seen it, you would have definitely got in with me. No, we entered up here. Or Coca-Cola, bro. You would have entered Coca-Cola with us. We traded Coca-Cola as well to the downside. Yeah, if you guys want some of those swings, man, make sure you pay attention to my channel. I've been putting a lot of effort into my swing posts. Like, no glaze to myself here, but I've put a lot of effort into my swing posts. And I don't post every day because I don't want you guys to get into this like thinking of like, oh my god, we have to swing every day. Like, no, if you're swinging every day, you're literally forcing yourself to catch a loss eventually. And a big thing that we do with my swings is we try to keep our losers as small as we possibly can. Because honestly, like you could go on like a week or two streak of just having like smaller winners, and you'll still be happy about that as long as you aren't dealing with some like heavy loss, like just weighing over you. Sorry, I kind of there for a second. I missed that. I did. Oh, you did get KO? Okay, my bad. I was like, man, Mikey would have got Ela Lily, because I know you don't care. Mikey just likes good setups. So yeah, if you guys want like some swing, and not even just to take them with me, maybe you're just someone who just wants to like pay attention. You just want to see them pan out. Like that's another cool thing. Yo, put Target on your watch list, guys. Do not forget Target. This is like the next UPS breakout. Like dead ass, this should be like top of the best shit ever watch list right now. Where's my scratch pad? Here it is. Oh god. Oh god. Yeah, we got a lot of different names on here from the old streams. I've been saving the scratch pad. I don't want to delete it. Then we can do our scanners. But honestly, yeah, put this on y'all's watch list. Do not. Actually, we should just rechart it. Do not forget Target. I think I've just been doing emergent candles. I don't think I've been doing anything crazy for this one. Monthly emergent candles for daily time frame swings. I feel like I should add something from before this high. Yeah, like that. So now it looks like an actual chart now. And then you could focus on the short-term information. Like, definitely get this gap from close of the day to the open of this day. You come up with this as the 50%. Look how accurately that gets just displayed. And see how we always talk about, like, when we have a gap down or a gap up, we almost make it back to that 50%. It's true on every time frame. I mean, look how quick they gravitated back to this. And even over the long haul, look how they gravitated back to the 50% again. I mean, it kind of looks like the same thing is setting up again. It just gravitates towards that 50%. Too many people go for the full gap fill and get fucked for it. I don't know why. That could be like a down the road target, but out the gate, that 50% is just so nice. I won't lie, this is some decent price action here. It probably scares people seeing all these wicks right here, but this is a really nice hammer today. Pretty sure this is the Y sector, right? Oh no, it is a staple. I keep mixing it up as a discretionary because of the other one. And yeah, look, staples, I mean, they're at a decent spot. They don't look as good as Target, of course. But Target needs to be a good one on the watch list. I guess I'll post that as like a watch. All right, posted that on the channel, so we at least have it ready. XLV gang, whoop whoop. I'm not touching XLV. It just dropped into this area. It's probably gonna get a bounce, and if it doesn't, I'm also not gonna be surprised. But it's in its next spot now. Can't even draw it. It made it from high to demand. So it's either about to like dip a little bit more into like a hammer or just settle here for a second. But either way, it did do its move from the high. It'll make its next move from this area though. The low of the move to the high of this red candle. But I'm definitely watching healthcare. Don't you worry about that. I'm watching it with you, brother. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like these, but you have to like what am I trying to say here? You have to like time yourself. You don't want to like enter here, then enter here, then enter here, then enter here, then enter here, because then you're gonna get caught in days like this or weeks like this. Like you gotta kind of like let it do its thing, wait a week or two, let it do its thing. I think that's what helped me out because I normally hate healthcare, but it helped me out a lot this last rotation. Got cooked on Google. Damn man, I am sorry to hear that. On scalps or swings, what were you doing? I mean, you don't have to share if you're not comfortable with it. I don't even blame you. If you want to, though, feel free to. Bomb, see this week. Be mindful. Yes, sir. Wednesday. I'm ready for it, brother. That's why I'm glad we got some of the damage done today. Do I mind posting the Discord just one more time? Yeah, no problem. Is it not showing in the YouTube chat? Or is it so far up now? Oh, no, it's right there. I'll just copy that one. Oh, that didn't work. That's awesome. All right, I'll just grab a new one. It's weird. I can't just copy the link. Copy link address. Yeah, that doesn't work. That's crazy. All right, 1 sec. I'll just make a new one. Scalps. I'll be honest with you, I don't have this correctly charted, so I'll just add the short-term levels that I did today for SPY and Triple Q. Just so I can get on the same page as you, at least to some extent. All right, so of the gap down, that's what the 50% is. Previous day, 50% is right there. Today's opened right here. So this is like its directional area. Bullish above it, bearish below it. And then you use other signals outside of that. Like previous day low is right here. What am I drawing? Previous day low is right here. So that would have been helpful. I mean, intraday wise, it was kind of bearish. But I don't know if I would have been bearish until this price action occurred. Like this doesn't tell me shit. That's just a dip after a lower open. That doesn't mean anything. But paired with this, now it does start to become something. Which actually kind of makes sense. That lines up with what we found with SPY and Triple Q today. It wasn't like out the gate we were bearish. We were just like, okay, it's rejecting good areas. And then we were like, okay, shit, now it's bearish. Like a little bit after. Mainly because of XLK going up this morning and then pulling back. Let me know if that link works, by the way, Oscar. Hopefully that worked. Thank you, Bulls. Man, I don't even know the last time I've traded Google. That we swing traded it like a while ago, but I don't remember where that was at anymore now. That's how long it's been. That was down here somewhere. I haven't touched it for a bit. But that was a swing. You were scalping Google. Well, I hope you bounce back from it. David, hope you bounce back from that. Really appreciate you streaming. Interesting to see how you approach things or approach setups. Thank you, man. Honestly, like in short, just to kind of like dumb it down as dumb as I possibly can, because I just like dumbing things down. Like I'm pretty simple-minded. It's always trade the second thing. Like let's say you're looking at like an important level. Too many times I see people be like, I'm a short that if it breaks. I'm gonna long it if it breaks to the upside. Like, okay, that's awesome, but like pair that with something. Like let's say it goes up and then it comes down, but it doesn't perfectly touch my level. Like, is there anything I can do here? And there is plenty of things we can do here. Like if you go from the level to the high and it's wow, that's perfect actually. And it holds the 50%, like we could see this as a midterm retest is what we call it, right? Well, what do we look at that midterm retest, right? If I zoom in, oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. If we zoom in or on like a smaller time frame, like what am I actually looking at there to micromanage to like actually get into on a trade? Like I want to see like a bullish hammer followed by like a green candle close after that. I want to see something that holds this or something that just like identifies as bullish pattern holding this, right? So like I said, you're never looking for the first thing to be bullish. You're more or less looking for like that second thing. If that makes sense. Probably the most basic explanation I could do, but in short, that's what we're trying to do. But now it's about learning like, well, what are the key levels that are so important for direction? You know, the today's open, gap 50%, previous day control points. Those are 3 key levels we use for direction. Everything else is merely just to kind of stack on top of that, right? So if I'm under this area, but then I hold the previous day low, there's still a chance that this can bounce and retake this. And then next thing you know, we're looking at a green day. You know, like there's plenty of things you can do to kind of micromanage like correct decision making, but it's never 100%. I always say that too. Like it's high probability, but you're never 100%. Like you're always going to have that chance of having a trade that just doesn't work out. But that shouldn't be happening a lot, because you should be in the higher probability part of a chart every time, or as many times as you can, not every time. Of course, that'd be nice if it was every time. But I'm glad you like the breakdowns. I appreciate you for listening in. Link work, thanks. No problem, man. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the community. Bunch of cool nerds in there. I would definitely say one thing, and I say this to literally everybody, because I know everybody's... I mean, some of us just don't like to talk too much, but that's fine. Like, I get that. Just kind of like chilling. But the people who grow like the quickest or the most in my chat, or learn the most, or kind of appreciate the system the most, are people who interact the most. Just engaging, interacting, even if it's just some bullshit comment. Like you see someone post a trade review and you're like, damn, nice, I'm going to read this. Like, it's kind of nice. You're just reinforcing good interaction with each other. Maybe not be that fake as that example as I gave, but you know what I mean. It's definitely nice seeing people interact and kind of grow from it, because we're all trying to do the same thing. It's just, yeah. Some people like to trade more than others. We'll say that much. But I like this system because you don't have to trade every day. You could literally be here 2-3 times a week. You'll be fine. You just got to be comfortable enough doing that. But you don't need to be in front of your screens all the time. In the beginning, it probably helps because you could like learn what you want to learn as quick as possible, or get more in tune with it. But you don't want to be here all the time. That's not what this is for. Options are a tool too. I think people, I always have to go over that too. Like, it's a lot of people forget it's just a tool. You're supposed to be investing and buying things over the long term and holding for the long term. Things you appreciate, things you think will hold over the long term, things you think will just do good. Stable companies that everyone knows, stuff like that. Options are merely just like an appetizer, a salad on the side of the grand scheme of things. So you definitely don't want to waste your time too much just doing options all the time. It's nice to know, it's nice to potentially take advantage of, but it definitely doesn't need to be the majority of what you're doing. You will not hear that from almost anyone else on the internet. They'll tell you, no, just follow my strategy. You can trade options all you want, dude. You'll get rich. No, you'll burn out is what will happen. You can't just options trade. Not because you can't, but because you shouldn't. It's just deterioration. Sorry for coughing in the mic. I thought I was about to die right there. Saw the afterlife for a second. It was very bright. That was a lot of talking today, man. I got a pretty annoying job to do after the stream ends today. Cutting the streams up are actually pretty annoying, but it's worth it when we have like a big long like run and go over stuff. But personally, I do need to have someone else kind of like back test it and go through the stream and see what part of the beginning of the stream should I cut, because it felt like 40 minutes, but it might be longer than that or shorter than that. I might need to back test that. But yeah, I gotta do that when the stream ends. That'll be fun. What sucks is waiting for it to render, honestly. It's not even actually doing anything. It's waiting on YouTube to render for me to even start. Because sometimes it's like right after the stream, it's like, yeah, bro, cut a clip. But sometimes it's like, wait 6 hours. So it doesn't make any sense. I think that's what gets me. Because I'd rather just do it right when I want. I also like to do it as fast as I can, because some people like don't have time for that kind of shit. Some people only have like 15 minutes to check chat. So I try to have it posted as early as I can so they don't have to wait forever. I've had tons of people be like, yo, thank you for posting early. That's why I post as early as I can on Sundays. Some people actually appreciate the early timing. Some people don't have all damn day to look at that stuff. Okay, I gotta scroll up in the stream. Who's the person that called out the potential evening star? It didn't end up being an evening star, but it literally bounced from whatever they mentioned, that hammer. Who the hell said that? Was that Alst? Yeah, it was Alst. That was actually genius of him. Ever since he said it, I highlighted that, and then it just bounced. Very good mention. Let's tag him in chat. It was clean. Anybody watch any cool shows or movies this weekend? Speaking of Netflix, they released a bunch of shit, new releases and stuff from other like places like HBO and stuff. Pretty cool. I don't know if Carter's here, but they added Turned to Netflix. Might have to rewatch, honestly. Man, I swear, every chart that has a C in it looks just like this. Coin, Chewy, and then that other one. Landman 1 to 4. The hell's that? Landman 1 to 4. Oh, seasons 1 to 4. I see what you're saying now. Landman. Why do I feel like I've heard of this show? Oh, this is the one with Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah, that's why I've heard of this. I think I heard this show was like really, really good. Great show. Damn, I need to check it out then. It's got Billy Bob in it. I mean, might as well. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is a good one. Wait, didn't what's her name post this one? Let's go check BB Workshop. By the way, this is like a mentorship type group channel thing, but I don't like to call it mentorship because that's not what we're doing. But I don't know what else to call it. So we just call it BB Workshop. But basically, a lot of cool posts get put in here. But I wanted to point out. Oh, no, it's CoreWeave. That's what she posted. That's right. She did Amazon. She did Meta. CoreWeave. Dual. That's the C I was thinking of. That's the third C I was thinking of. There's 4 charts that have a C in it that are the same setup. Coin, Chewy, Chewy's a little uglier. Kava, and then CoreWeave. Did I spell CoreWeave wrong? Fuck, which one's CoreWeave? CRWV. I gotta get used to that. It's like Crowdweight. It's like CrowdStrike. There's 4 C charts that are the same setup. That's crazy. Someone pointed this out to me, but whoever did is a genius. Because that did really well. Lamb Weston's got that same look too. It doesn't have a C in the name, but same look. A little uglier candlesticks though. Okay, let's lower this because I'm so tired of looking just to the far right. There we go. Damn, TTD, how the mighty have fallen. Guys, we swung this up to the upside and have not looked back since. This thing has fallen hard. Poor thing. Oh my god, look at TXN. That's the ticker that will always evade me because I overlook it. TXN is such a good ticker to trade. Ooh, Whirlpool. Tesla's pretty notable too. Cheap Tastic was the one that was shorting this today, and he did really good on it. But it does have that crazy strong look. It's not just a gap down, it's a very strong bearish kicker. I mean, it might as well have another lower open and test this tomorrow. If it doesn't just do it today, of course. That's an interesting one, though. I have like top weights. NVIDIA, too, just because they look like they're eyeballing going up again, which would be a very big deal considering they're the market's biggest, most important weight right now. Microsoft, too, being a third top tech weight. Just how much distance they have from their all-time high. I'm not saying they're going to go way up here all in like a day or two, but just the fact that they have that much room. So if we see any upside on tech, could definitely help the market out a little bit, but we'll see, because you see some of the other sectors cooling off. Like literally every sector cooled off today except tech. Tech's like catching up. Ooh, JPM shorts. Potentially. Let me screenshot that one too. What are these levels I have though? Are these weekly? No. Monthly? Oh, that must have been the all-time high at the time when I drew that. These are all monthly emerging candles. I'll just delete that one. That's what it should look like. That could be an interesting short if we look at the XLF chart. Let me take a peep. Oh, they kind of have the same look too. GPM. XLF sector. Short buy, short term. Already knew that one. Honestly, I hope Netflix goes down below 80 so we can all buy shares of Netflix at 80. That would be cool. Walmart looks good too for downside, but I honestly think a person looking to short something like Walmart is someone that looks for low probability trades. Like, same thing with Costco. Like, even if I think it's going to go down, it's going to be hard to short it because it's like a true. These are like true staple stocks. When the world truly goes to shit, these will have a week or two of going up while the rest of the market's on fire. Like, it's just what they are. So it's just hard to look for short setups on those. But those do look like they're cooling off. So that is still something you could take away from that. The info goes both ways. Well, that was a lot of fun just looking at daily charts for a second. If you guys are ever interested in anything outside, of course, the live streams, we have the playlist as well for anything really, swing trading, all that stuff. Swinging and scalping is what you'll see me do a lot. Like today we scalped, and then last week we did a couple swing trades and scalped. It's just if the setup approaches, then we take it. But check out some of the stuff in here. You'll see we've done plenty of different playlists with just a couple indicators. Sometimes we've done playlists with literally no indicators. It just kind of depends on what you're feeling. But yeah, check it out. Check out all the little different playlists or whatever. Back to work. Have a great day, folks. You too, Mikey. Thank you for showing up, dude. Appreciate you for thumbsing up the stream. Real as fuck. I appreciate everybody in here. Seriously, thank you guys for being here, hanging out, thumbsing up the stream, hanging out, and just whatever. I'm like out of energy now because I've been doing nothing but ranting all day and breaking stuff down. That was a lot of energy, but this morning was fun. Like covering stuff live, trading it live, going over it live while it was working. That was a lot of energy, but it was fun. I can't believe it's 10 minutes till 12:30. All right, guys. I think I'm going to end the stream here. We did make it like way past the normal amount of time, but we got to go over a lot today. Hopefully the stream like let me render out the part of the video I want to upload for y'all like quick. But thank you guys for thumbsing up. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you. I will see you on the next stream. And yeah, just appreciate everybody for tuning in and showing up. See you guys later.